draft, Golden State selected LSU star Flau'jae Johnson, number 8 overall, and then traded her to the Seattle Storm for Marta Suarez and a 2028 second-round pick. The M swept the Astros in a 4-game series with a 6-1 win in that finale yesterday. Josh Naylor, who hasn't had a chance to heat up yet, turned it on with 2 home runs, accounting for 5 of Seattle's 6 runs. M's open a series against the Padres tonight at 6:40.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
Think of where this team was 4 days ago. 5 days ago. The Ichiro statue is unveiled. The bat breaks. That happens while we're on air. And then we say, and you could probably find it from less than a week ago, I go, oh my God, is this a bad omen? Is this real? Is this actually a bad omen? What's happening? This is the weirdest start to the season. And Mina Kimes pointed this out, but other people have noticed too. Mariners 4-0 since that bat broke during that Ichiro statue unveiling. They needed a get-right series, and they got it.
I called it the mental health series. We needed this for our mental health. They needed it for their mental health. They can prove they can still put up runs and square the ball up, and us as analysts and fans needed it because all the hype going into the season. You know what's funny about that? I went to the game on Friday, and they gave out the bobbleheads. Mm-hmm. I got 2 of them. Mm-hmm. One of them did not have a bat.
Oh, the little Ichiro replicas.
Yeah, one did not have a bat. And
Someone
I opened it up. I don't know. It was fresh.
Maybe that's the bat they used to replace the real statue.
There you go. But no,
took it out.
It was a good weekend, man. We needed to see this. I'm happy for Julio. He finally goes yard. Naylor has a heck of a game. Luke, your boy Lukey has been low-key holding it down for the squad. Rosarena leads the team in hits right now. You get quality starts in your second or first or second in the league when it comes to quality starts.
Yeah.
It was a good weekend.
Luke Rayleigh not only with 3 hits yesterday and a really good series and strong start to the season so far, but a phenomenal catch yesterday to get a massive out.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start at the beginning, though. Literally, bottom of the first, Naylor gets his homer.
The set by Burrows and the right-handers. 0-1 on the way to Naylor. Swing and a well-hit ball into right field. Going back is Smith, and this one is gone. Goodbye, baseball. Number 1 for Josh Naylor. A line drive into the lower deck in right field. A 3-run home run. The Mariners lead the Astros 3-0.
And he was not done.
Here's the pitch to Josh. Swung on, lasered, center field. Has he done it again? Yes, he has. It's in the seats. Josh Naylor, a 2-run blast. And the Mariners lead 5-0. A bolt to center from Josh Naylor. Lightning strikes twice.
Now, the Astros pitching was awful, and we'll get to that conversation. But, Bump, to me, one of the most encouraging things from this series was that you weren't just looking at the guys who had been off to hot starts to win it for you. Rosarena had great moments and has been good to start the season. But, we entered this series going, I'm watching Cal, I'm watching Josh, I'm watching Julio, I'm watching those guys. It's not like they raked per se, but each one of them had moments that you kind of thought, that was a good AB. That was a step forward. That was progress. That was great. And I think that's in no small part probably why a lot of Mariners fans are feeling pretty good after this sweep.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care that their pitching was garbage. You need that.
Yeah.
You need for a team to come into your house and you just take advantage of everything they're doing. It's good for the team's morale. It looked like they were having more fun out there, especially when you're hitting bombs and all that good stuff. The pitch is on point. No, we needed this. We needed that sweep. Thank you, Astros, for your service. But most importantly, I think that this could be this could kickstart some things. That's what we're looking for. There's something to get this team moving in the right direction. That's what we got this weekend.
Do you think it helps that it was against the Astros, right? The Astros are not supposed to be phenomenal this year. They can be really competitive. Yordan Alvarez has had a phenomenal start to the season. He looks like an MVP frontrunner on a team that could end up losing a ton because of their pitching. But I also think it helps. Look, you had just lost to 2 other divisional opponents, including one by a sweep, I should say, by the Rangers. I think it would have been awful to lose a 4-game series after that road trip to anyone, it would have felt especially bad to a team in your division, especially the Astros.
Yeah, especially because we know that they're not hot right now. Jordan is on some other stuff. He's playing some good ball. But as a squad, they don't give us the same feel of the Astros from a few years ago. But they're still the Astros, so you want to smack them. You're right about being a divisional opponent. You want to get that done. You're coming off a tough road trip. No, this was needed, and it does feel better that it's the Astros. Yes, most definitely. We do not like the Astros. I love the pick off Logan against the little homie over there at first base. That was beautiful. It was just fun. Like, I felt like the fan base needed to have fun this weekend.
Yeah.
And the Mariners provided that.
Josh Naylor probably needed it too. Again, 5 of Seattle's 6 runs.
Yeah, I think this year's a stepping stone. You know, we have such a great lineup 1 through 9. Regardless of who's in it, it's a threat with every hitter. Threat of the long ball, threat of a great at-bat, threat of a walk, threat of a stolen base. Like, I think everyone takes care of their responsibilities, and we're going to thrive throughout the whole year. It's a long year. We started off a little bit slow. I mean, it's still early. I'm not going to say, we're like mid-season right now. It's still really, really early. We're still kind of adjusting to baseball again, adjusting to travel, to schedules, and all that. But yeah, no, this team is absolutely incredible. I'm very honored and blessed to play for this organization and play for this team. And my teammates are incredible. Everyone is super supportive with each other, regardless of up or down. Like, again, I haven't had the best start so far, but I just get nothing but support from my teammates and my coaching staff. And I give that towards everyone too.
A reminder of how early it is. 4 days ago, we were seeing from some people, I'll say a minority of people, we were lied to about this team.
Mm-hmm.
The offense is going to be trash. People don't want it enough, like whatever you were going to say. And we kept saying, hey, it's early. And I know it sounds like we're saying excuses. Look, it's frustrating to watch. Totally get it. But just give it a second. And I'm not sitting here promising that this team's going to win a World Series. But what I am saying is you have to wait to let this team and what they'll bring start to take shape. And this is part of it, right? They're not going to have 13 hits against every single opponent. They're not going to get walked 8 times in a game against every single opponent, but they're also not going to play the best version of the Yankees every single time. And by the way, the Yankees have also cooled off a little bit. Got a win yesterday against the Angels, but they're coming back down to earth.
I spoke to, I forgot who it was, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, one of my buddies celebrated his 15th or 20th anniversary. And I'm like, how? Tell me, how are you doing this? How'd you make it so far? It was more than 20, I think. And he says, ride the highs, weather the lows. And I'm like, that's what you got to do with this team, right? You got to ride the high. There's a high right now. You got to ride that thing. And there are going to be some lows, and you got to kind of weather those things. So you got through a low. The first low of the season, there are going to be other lows. But this is a high that you can hear it in Josh's voice, too. It sounds like he's relieved, and he's got injected with some excitement and some fuel or whatnot. And, when you hit 2 bombs, back to 2 pitches, 2 bombs, they should feel that way. So, yes, we saw a lot of good from the pitching to defense, Julio, everybody. This was just a fun thing to watch, man. I haven't this is the first time this year where I was watching the game, and I was genuinely excited for this team.
Well, and I think excited to – we've seen a great start. You mentioned Luke Raley earlier. You've been talking about Cole Young. Those guys haven't cooled off. It's not like those guys are suddenly flat and you just had this really cool 1 week stretch or 1 series stretch from them. If Julio, Cal, and Naylor look like we expect them to this season, this lineup is one of the best I've seen in years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
And I really like what the other pieces of this lineup bring. I love that Cole Young has really surpassed expectations this year. Brendan Donovan, I know that his glove, people still want to see a little bit more. Third is not a regular position for him, but at the plate, he's done so much for this organization so far. It's been a great addition so far. Joe in Bellevue said, is it true that since we wrote off early struggles, is it still early? Should we write off early season success? Is it still early? In a way, sure. Yeah, in a way. I'm not looking at this series going, they're going to go on a 20-game stretch of winning. But I think that because of human nature and fandom, people tend to look at negatives to emotionally protect themselves. So, yeah, I wouldn't read into this too much, but I don't think we often stop ourselves from reading into slow starts. You have to do both.
I think this is just you needed to see the potential of this group because you're yet to see that. You start the season, you have all these expectations, You got analysts picking them to go to the World Series, possibly win that thing, and then they come out and they don't look like that type of team. But you know it's there, right? I think that's kind of what you and I have been doing is like, yeah, we think it's in there. We haven't seen it yet. So when you do see it, I think it should be celebrated the same way that we've talked about the struggles that they've had. If they struggle, we talk about the struggles and where we are in the season. So, yes, they won 4 games in a row. They beat an Astros team. That pitching is just garbage, but they finally showed you the potential. So, yeah, you celebrate it, and then you move on to the next. It's a day-by-day kind of thing, series by series. So, yeah, there are gonna be days when we come here and we talk about, man, those bats are cold.
Yeah.
Man, those arms ain't popping the way they used to. So be in this moment the same way we were in that moment when we started the season and they were struggling.
Right, and you just kind of like, okay, I'm just going to let it chill. And look, I'm glad you mentioned it being a mental kind of get-right series, an emotional get-right series, because while this team isn't going to be facing the pitching that the Astros were rolling out in every single series, you've got some tough arms in San Diego for a quick road trip here. I do, and you would know this more than me, Bump, I do think there is something that happens for athletes when you kind of get into the swing of things and you start feeling a little more confident. I'm sure that there were games you had where even if it was an opponent where you went into it thinking like, I'm better than this guy, it still felt good when you were on a roll, or it still felt good when you were getting into a flow state like you talk about.
Yeah.
I think that's why it's so important. Like, losing this series wouldn't have made or broken your year at all. It's April. What are we talking about? But look, for a guy like Josh Naylor, who's been kind of cold, who's otherwise fairly consistent, getting 2 home runs in a game. Look at his body language. That guy was hyped.
Mm-hmm.
And so is Julio, by the way.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a wingman like that.
You have to be in the present, right? And presently, we saw something from this team we haven't seen all year. Now, that doesn't mean that they're automatically World Series champions. It means that you should have a bit more confidence that they have it in them. They have the capability of doing it. What's tough about a season is that you're almost never good enough, but you're always bad enough. Like, if you lose, people are going to just jump on you and say, I told you, I told you. And if you win, it's like, well, it's a long season. Yes, it is. That's why you play the games. You have to play all of the games. But during the games, during the series, there's a narrative, right? There's a story that's being written right in front of our eyes. So right now the story is, this team started off slow. We were waiting for a glimmer of hope. We got that glimmer of hope. Now can they build off of it? This does not mean that they're World Series champions. They're going to win a division. Mm-hmm. It's just fun to watch. So, yes, long season. It ain't over, but goodness gracious, tell me that didn't feel good this weekend watching that team play like that.
I also thought it was really encouraging to see the pitching. If you want to talk about, someone pointed out, well, this team is still really up and down. I think it's too early to even say that. Like, you have to wait and see, like, okay, they had a good April and May, and then they're down. I'd still say they're consistent. If, like, from week to week over months, they're 2 different teams, then you can say that. Yeah. All that being said, I actually think the pitching has been really consistent to start the year. You had a not-so-great start from Luis Castillo. Wilcox out of your bullpen has had a couple less than stellar moments. But overall, the arms have been so much better to start this year than they were last. We'll talk about it coming up a bit later this hour, actually. But I think that you are seeing some things that are encouraging over periods of time. I think it feels like Cal, who was struggling with ABS challenges in the very beginning of the year, seems to be having a much better feel for them now.
Yeah. That
feels like something that is developing over the course of weeks that feels more consistent as opposed to having one good day, right? Like, it feels like that guys are just seeing things better.
We're talking about how sometimes you got to get lucky and things got to go your way. Mm-hmm. Remember when Cal tried to throw a ball out at second base and it flies over Cole Young's head? And we're like, dang, horrible throw. But his hand hits the face mask, come back. Little things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate little things like that because I'm a firm believer in momentum and luck. Like, it happens. I've experienced it myself. Big ups, Big Ray, who does not believe in that. I still love you, big homie. And so little things like that, I'm like, all right, the gods are on our side for this series, right? And you need some of that along with the great play from your dude. So all around, good series. It was fun. I was excited to come back to the show today and just feel the excitement from the text lines. There's a couple doubters in there, which I get. Okay, it's a bad Astros team, but what if they lost that series? What if they looked bad?
Yeah.
Like, coming in today would have felt completely different. So thank you, Mariners, for doing that. On to the next.
Yeah, it reminded me of the conversations we have about the Seahawks. If it's like they beat the Titans, but not by enough. I'm not likening the Astros as a whole to a bad team, rather just bad pitching. But it's kind of like, well, what would you have said had they lost?
Yeah.
Like you said, like you kind of have to your point exactly, take a moment to go, okay, I liked this, this, and this. Let's see what they can bring in a series against tougher arms in San Diego. Quick road trip here for a 3-game series against the Padres. First pitch is tonight at 6:40. Pregame show starts at 5:30. Brian Wu is on the mound. They're going to come back to Seattle at the close of this series on Friday, hosting the Rangers. Let's hope that they can get some very quick revenge here. Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra,
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news.
Powered by Bay Alarm Security Services.
With Bump and Stacy.
Headline number 1, the Storm drafted Spanish forward Awa Fam Tiem at number 3 overall, and then traded for the draft rights, I should say, to LSU star Flau'jae Johnson from Golden State. What's the real headline?
Yeah, Seattle got 2 wins yesterday. Storm cleaning up. There were some rejected headline rewrites, which I will say on air now. Curtis, I'm sorry. One was, are we in Vegas? Because the Storm aced this draft. Curtis,
we're not in Vegas.
Call them the Storm because they're blowing everyone away with these picks in the draft.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Call them the Storm because they are storming
Bump save us.
back to a championship with a quick rebuild. Call them the Storm.
Awa, she's a good player, man. She's a rim protector. She's good in the post. She has great vision. She's got range. She's athletic, man. I was excited about this pick. I didn't know her before, obviously. I mean, not obviously. I just didn't. I went back.
You're not watching Spanish hoops,
I'm
man?
not watching Spanish hoops. Paul Gasol doesn't play anymore, so I'm done with the Spanish. But she's a baller, man. She's your modern player. She's a big forward type who can dribble, can shoot, protect the rim, has vision. I really like this pick. And then Flau'jae, I mean, she's a creator. She gets to the rack, and she's a rapper too. She got bars. She got bars. So no, it was a great draft. That was the first draft that I watched like completely. I sat down and just watched it all go down. I'm doing research from the girls as they walk up to the podium. Big ups to UCLA, who had like 5 girls drafted in the first round or something like that. It was fun.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, Dan Wilson said pregame yesterday, Bryce Miller threw a bullpen in Arizona on Sunday, and it went really well. What's the real headline?
So you're saying Bryce Miller is alive? That's
it's been forever since we've gotten an update
what
on
was
him.
Going on here, but Curtis yesterday had his Brian Windhurst. What's going on here? What's going on with Bryce?
Yeah, what is going on with Bryce? But I'm glad he's well. I'm glad he's active, and can't wait for him to join the party.
From the 206, call them the Storm because they rained on the rest of the league's parade.
Yep.
Don't feed her like that.
Call them the Storm because they're storming. I already used that one. Call them the Storm.
Bryce Miller, great to have him throwing again.
Now, is it a fair question, Curtis? Is this something that we should have heard about sooner? Does it mean there's a little bit of a delay? Because yesterday, Bump, obviously you weren't here, but I mentioned Curtis was worried, and it was because we hadn't heard about this several days prior.
Yeah. I would be stunned if he's back by that end of April target date that Jerry DiPoto gave us on opening day. It sounds like he is going to, once the San Diego road trip is done, rejoin the Mariners, not necessarily from a playing capacity, but just kind of be around the team once they get back on Friday against the Rangers in that series. My guess is that he continues to throw in front of the watchful eyes of the coaching staff, and then probably heads out for a rehab start, maybe end of April, start of May. And then looking at what George Kirby did last year, he had 3 rehab starts before he rejoined the rotation. So I think right now you're looking at probably still another month before we see Bryce Miller, maybe around Mother's Day or so.
Good to have a strong start here then from Emerson. What's next?
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3. It's Some NBA action. The Golden State Warriors are keeping Steph Curry on a minutes restriction in a winner-take-all game against the LA Clippers. What's the real headline?
You can't tell me tanking isn't a problem. Now, Bump, I'll say this. Curry's been dealing with knee injuries this season. There's a health reason he's going to be limited. He has played 26, 25, 27, 29 minutes in his last 4 games. So saying like, oh, between 30 and 40, like that's also not drastically different from what he's been doing, and it is pushing it a little bit. But there's incentive to losing the game. Fans are probably a little upset that in a game that matters, that they must win, they're not like pushing for it.
They've been doing this all year, honestly. Coach Kerr said, look, this is our approach, and I'm not changing it the final game of the season. I do understand the frustration from some fans because this is a winner-take-all. Like, you want to get this game done. But also, Kerr, man, he's complaining about he wants a shorter season because guys are getting banged up. Michael Jordan played 9 full seasons, 82 games. He played 11 seasons where he played 80 games. Like, kill all this noise about load management and shortening the season. Just play the dang games. If you're injured, you're injured. It is what it is. Kerr is starting to get on my nerves a little bit.
Why?
I still like him, but it seems like he's always complaining about something.
Yeah. And
he wants a shorter season. I'm like, no, man, back in the 90s, back in my day, they played every game.
I do have a real question. Do you think that the league will try to do that? There's no reason to, but you know how the NFL is trying to expand, and eventually they're probably going to have like 20 games or like incorporate whatever they can, more international games, whatever it is. Do you think the NBA is going to hear enough about that they do cut it?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I hope they don't.
I just can't see them doing that with TV deals. Like, why have fewer games? But
no, and then you mess with all the records too. Right?
Yeah.
Adding games is different. Taking games away, now guys can't even try to break these records, or naturally, no one really tries to break records. It kind of just happens. But no, you switch things up. So I hope they don't cut back.
Yeah.
But going back to Golden State, they've been doing this all year. It's just the fact that it's a playing game and you're not going to push it a bit. I was concerned.
Okay, I went from going, what are you talking about, to being completely convinced on Kerr, because you're right. It is kind of like hearing someone complain about, like, there's too many games. Okay.
Well, it's been this way forever.
Well, what do you want to do? I don't know. Like, I think people are frustrated and feel like there's too much load management anyways, that guys aren't genuinely dealing with some injuries seriously keeping them out, that it's just purely about, if you're a team that's good, you're looking at the playoffs, knowing that you can take days off.
Yeah.
You don't even go 100% in the season.
A lot of guys don't play in back-to-back games. And look, like a guy like Tatum, who's coming off an injury, like, I get that. You don't play in back-to-back games because of your knee or your Achilles or whatnot. I think it was a knee. Yeah, his knee. But if you're capable, get your butt out there. You're getting guaranteed contracts, tens of millions of dollars. Fans want to see you. Just play the game. The only thing saving Golden State in this situation is that they've been doing this all year. So it's nothing different.
Do you guys think that that this is an effort to tank, or just more of like a, hey, I'm calling it now, we can't get it done anyways? Or maybe it just has nothing to do with that, and it's purely preserving a guy who hasn't even played more than 30 in his last 4.
Well, I don't think the Warriors are a true title threat if they had a fully healthy Steph Curry, because they lost Jimmy Butler earlier in the season. They traded away, Jonathan Kuminga. I think this is kind of the end of their reign as like an annual title contender. I mean, maybe you just kind of play out the string with Steph Curry's final years, or maybe even move him to another team. Who knows? But yeah, I don't think the Warriors are going to get back to that level that they were at a decade ago. But I mean, maybe give it one last college try here. But I don't think it's going to end in a title for them.
You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. Coming up, 2 draft analysts keep pounding the table for Jadarian Price. But is that the right move for Seattle at 32?
Wyman and Bob, every afternoon at 2.
We had the John Schneider show yesterday. He's in rarefied air, I think, with the fan base. He could pretty much make any move he wants, and the fans are going to go, okay, yeah, I'm on board.
There's one. Draft at number 32, draft a kicker. there we go. I think that's the only thing we could do.
Well, all of a sudden that guy's booting 66-yarders on the regular, and people are going, see?
Only on Seattle Sports and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
Well, spring is all about getting ready for summer, isn't it? But do you have a room just sitting empty and you've dreamt of making it your own home gym? Hey, Brock Heward here, and working out in your own home, well, it is the best. We've been doing so for years, and you can allow Top Fitness to create your own home gym. Simply give them your room dimensions, and they'll do the rest. A complete fitness room design. It's no secret why everyone, from personal trainers to pro athletes, love Top Fitness. Top Fitness represents the very best brands in fitness, like Precor, Inspire Fitness, along with many others. They also have everything from flooring to weights that go in a home gym. And right now, get spring special financing with 0% interest for 12 months, plus mention me and receive an $150 credit towards any purchase over $1,000. Spring is here to get you in the best shape, so go get into Top Fitness with locations in Tukwila, Linwood, and Bellevue, or simply visit topfitness.com for more info. That's Top Fitness, your best place for home fitness equipment.
Worried about tariffs, imports, hidden fees on your trees? Relax. At Big Trees, the only thing growing faster than our trees is your relief, because trees don't come with tariffs. What you will find is a massive nursery open to the public with hundreds of locally grown trees ready for planting. Come visit our nursery today or online at bigtreesupply.com. That's bigtreesupply.com.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it.
Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of essentials. Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing a lawyer, but getting some guy who just watches courtroom dramas.
How does the defendant plead?
Guilty. Wait, what? Also, objection.
You object to what?
Erroneous.
Counsel, approach the bench.
Hey, can I get a whack at the gavel?
You wouldn't settle for just any lawyer, so don't settle for just any insurance. Get the real deal with State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Annie's first oil change wasn't as hard as she thought because she went to AutoZone, where a friendly AutoZoner helped her find the right oil and save on an oil filter. He explained the job and showed her free how-tos on AutoZone.com. When she was done, AutoZone recycled her old oil for free. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Mariners and Padres tonight in San Diego. First pitch at 6:40. Pregame at 5:30. Hear every pitch live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
Taxes was waiting on the refund you needed yesterday.
All right, your car repair is going to run about $3,000.
Now Taxes is getting back on the road with TurboTax and Credit Karma, where you can get your refund up to 5 days faster and get personalized guidance to take every dollar further. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Deposit a federal refund into Credit Karma Money account and early submission of refund data by IRS required. Terms apply. Banking services provided by MVB Bank, Inc. Member FDIC. Credit Karma is not a bank.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump Stacy
Weekdays 10 to 2.
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Everyone keeps yelling, and they're yelling for the Seahawks to take Jadarian Price at number 32 overall. Daniel Jeremiah and Joe Klatt were just talking about it.
He's going to be the second running back taken. Like, this guy is really good.
If you don't get on the Jadarian Price train, I'm not feeling great about you having a running back you think could start next year. I think this is a 2 starting running back draft. Now, we always will get some guys who will surprise us and be solid players, but to me, it is not as a weakness in this draft. So I'm looking at him. I will put the ceiling. I'll go Seattle pick 32. And then the floor, I'll go Seattle 32.
Meaning Seattle should absolutely take him. I was struck by, though, what they said in the beginning. We've been hearing people say, look, they can find a running back on day 3, especially if they trade back and add some more picks, add him to that room for depth and for competition. But I was struck by Daniel saying, and Joel saying, there's 2 guys who can be starters or who can get some starting time. Everyone else is just like, all right, well, I guess you're adding competition. Good luck. Last year, adding Damian Martinez, and he doesn't end up doing anything for you. Like, you might feel really great about what he did in college in the moment, but like that ended up being a pick that didn't help that room at all. You didn't need it last year. Great. Fantastic. You had a phenomenal season from Charbonnet and Walker. You don't have either to start the year this year.
Yeah, that what makes that position a focal point. Because if Zach Charbonnet were healthy, I think they probably get a running back, but they're not pressed to get one right now at 32. They're probably looking at more at the edge or a corner or somebody. And I've seen mock drafts where they do draft an edge, they do draft a corner, they do draft a running back. Who knows? No one really knows what they're going to do. But because Zach Charbonnet is not healthy, that makes that pick a bit more intense. So, yes, it makes sense that everyone is focusing on Jadarian Price. I think he is the second best running back in this draft. And the Hawks just lost the Super Bowl MVP in K9. I've had this conversation with you plenty of times. People took for granted what K9 did for this football team. Frustrating at times, but when he is on, he is on. He probably, to me, had the run of the year snatching ankles against the Rams. So, yes, you need this run game. You need it for Sam. You need it for this offense. The Seahawks want to run the football. This offense is a run-first type of deal. Even if they have games where they throw the ball more than they run the football, run-first means that that's going to be the first punch. That's the thing that the Hawks want to make opponents have to respect first to open everything up. So, yes, it's important. I hope Price is there. If he is there, snatch him up quick.
They could use more talent in that running back room, just more bodies in that running back room. That said, John Schneider told Wyman and Bob on the John Schneider Show last year and the year prior that one of the mistakes that he's made earlier in his tenure is taking guys based on need, where need is the number one thing, and overdrafting them, taking guys before he otherwise would. He never has said names, but we've all assumed that L.J. Collier is one of those guys. Mm-hmm. Maybe like Rashid Shaheed, but I think most people turn to L.J. Collier as like probably had a second-round grade on him. Probably wasn't the best player available on Seattle's board, but Seattle needed to add to that defense, that defensive line. Is that what Jadarian Price would be at 32? You need a running back. Would he actually be the best player on your board? Is he? I mean, the philosophy is take the best player available. Mm-hmm. What are the odds that when you're on the board at 32, Jadarian Price is that guy?
I think when you look at this team, right?
There's going to be some good corners.
What other position are you? Corner is the other spot where I'm like, okay, you need some depth there. You need depth, but you need a starter at running back. That's the difference. I can see some depth at the edge. We're still waiting on D-Law. Shannon, see what happens there. I can see some depth at the LB spot, a little thin there. But you need a starting running back. You need a starting running back. That's the only need that I think this team has. Everything else is just, okay, let's add some depth. Let's get some talent. Let's bring in some competition. That's why this is so important that you get Jadarian if he is available. But who says that he's going to be available? He might be off the board. And 4 down, I'm going to talk about that scenario. Just nothing is guaranteed. But if you get to 32 and say there's an edge rusher that is the best player on your board and Jadarian is still there, I still think you go Jadarian. Because of need. That's the one time I'm saying draft for need because you need a starting running back while Zach gets healthy.
And is it looking at the philosophy of this team, how they won last year, going like, look, I don't think you get back to a Super Bowl without addressing the running back room.
Yeah, I don't think you do at this point. And it's tough for me to say that because I haven't seen enough of Manuel.
Sure.
I haven't seen Kenny. I haven't seen enough of George Holani. The little tidbits that I have seen, there's potential there. But with Price, I think that's not a guaranteed thing. But the chances of him being a number one guy, to me, off of what I've seen, are a lot higher than, the room as it stands right now, being able to handle, 25 to 20 carries.
Yeah, I feel the same way you do, and I don't know if you're going to get pushback for it, but I'll back you up on this one. It's not meant as an offense to Holani. It's not meant as an offense to Kenny McIntosh, both of whom I've been so eager to see more from, right? They've both had moments where you go like, oh, put him out there for another snap. Let us see what he can do. There are just so many more question marks in this room. And a question mark doesn't have to be bad, but it's kind of like an elephant in the room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You just don't know.
Yeah. And if this was a team that I don't know, a team that doesn't need the run. I can't think of a single team in football where it's like they could have anyone at running back. But this is a team that especially needs that. And you also don't know how long Charbonnet is going to be out. There's a world where he comes back in December. I hope we don't live in that world. I hope he's back much sooner. And we've seen guys come back sooner than that. There's a world where you go through week 10. Through week 8 at least, and he's not out there. Do you feel good about the room you have right now without adding to it? I don't. And again, you could add on day 3, but I am struck by these two saying those guys, they might be encouraged. Jonah Coleman seems really intriguing. Like there are other guys that can be. Mike Washington out of Arkansas, I've seen like mocked as someone to Seattle as a much later pick. Those guys can be good, but there are 2 starters. One of them you don't have a shot at. The other one you do. Do you take them? That's really intriguing to me.
I feel bad talking about that room like that. I hope they don't listen to our show because I respect those dudes.
They probably do.
George Holani,
no,
Kenny
they
McIntosh.
Definitely don't.
I've been a big Kenny McIntosh fan from day one when he came out of Georgia. But what do we have to compare these guys to Price? You look at their college film. If I look at Price's college film lined up with Holani and Kenny McIntosh's college film, I'm going with Price. It's just more explosive. Faster. I think Kenny has some giddy up to a physical running back. Price does a little bit of everything. I look at, and I keep leaving Emmanuel out this situation. Emmanuel is a big boy too, downhill. I look at what Price can do and the characteristics of each of the backs already in there. He can do all of that. All that in one running back. I don't know what his pass pro is like. I should go watch more film and see what he's like in pass pro. But he does everything that those backs can do. Emmanuel's a downhill runner, runs behind the pads. He can do that. Holani's a scat back, good at pass pro, can catch the ball out the backfield. He can do that. Kenny McIntosh is a speed guy, get him outside, boom, he's gone. He can do that. So I'd rather have all that balled up in one and sprinkle in the other running backs rather than depend on this committee that you talked about a lot last week that you just – I don't feel comfortable playing that game, saying out of these 3 running backs, we can get 1,100 yards. Let's just get 1,100 out of one, or at least have the potential to get 1,100 out of one.
Yeah, Again, in an ideal world, like I want those guys to end up surprising everyone. It's not me being a hater. They don't listen. They definitely don't listen. But like, I would love it if Holani had 1,000 yards. It would be amazing. It'd be an amazing story to cover. I'm not a gambler. That's all it is. I'm not a gambler, and I like having. I did cover the 2017 season when they kept losing guys over and over and over. No running back had more than I think like 260 or 270 yards because guys kept getting hurt. And so it's hard for me carrying that memory not to look at a running back room, which is going to get banged up and go, God, you just need more bodies in there, man. John Schneider did say during a John Schneider show a bit earlier this spring that you can find running backs in places. Yep. And that was, he wasn't just talking about Holani. In fact, he said like, this isn't about Holani. This is just saying like in my experience, and he was talking about a time in Green Bay where it's like you can find guys that end up playing pretty big roles for you. It's not saying you're going to find a 1,300-yard guy. It's saying that maybe you can find a 400-yard guy who has, who's great out of the backfield or great, as a target or something, or a great red zone guy, whatever it is, third down back, that you can find guys in surprising places. And he knows that from his experience. I trust him with that. I'm just wondering if one of those guys is at 32.
I hope he is. Come home, Price.
Going to be really intriguing. We are getting back to the Seahawks at 11, about 20 minutes from now with Seahawks Draft Blogs. Rob Staton. We'll start by asking him about Price and us hearing more about this, and then we've got some other names to dive into. But back to the Mariners. Coming up next, they have a secret weapon.
Wyman and Bob.
I know Mariner fans love hearing this. Be patient.
Every afternoon at 2.
That's a dirty word. Go ahead. Start sending the text and tell me how stupid I am.
You come into the season, go, oh man, I can't wait. I think this is kind of a shock to the system for a lot of Mariner fans coming out of the gate.
I still and fully believe in this team. And, like you said, all of the experts that are out there, they thought this too. I don't think anybody's jumping ship yet.
Only on Seattle Sports and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
Stacey here, and I need to tell you guys about what I did last week. On Friday, I got to demo the Arc Sport from Arc. It's a fully electric boat that's built to be a wake boat. Carter from the demo team at Arc picked me up right on Lake Union. Very cool. The first thing I noticed was how sleek it looked and felt. I felt like I was in a luxury EV, but on the water. The fully heated seats and touchscreen dash were my favorite features because I'm always freezing cold and I love a touchscreen. But something tells me people who spend a lot more time on the water are going to love things like the retractable tower and, of course, Arc software. But you know what else I noticed? We were the only ones on the water. It was beautiful outside, but it's also early April. And that means most people have their boats winterized, not Arc. No winterization, oil changes, or transmission service means significantly less maintenance. So you can actually take advantage of an unexpectedly sunny day. You really have to see and experience this boat for yourself. So do it. It's easy. Book a demo. They'll pick you up on Lake Washington, Lake Union, or Lake Sammamish if you can't come to them in Kirkland. Go to arcboats.com/demo. Fill out the form and you'll be out on the water. Arc, you have to see it to believe it.
I had pain. I had numbness in my feet. That pain and that numbness just got worse and worse and worse as time went on.
This is Greg describing life with neuropathy.
I went to 5 podiatrists, tried different treatments, tried different orthotics, tried different shoes, had cortisone shots in the tops and the bottoms of my feet. Saw a neurologist. All my medical doctors said, can't help you. Live with the pain. You're not going to be able to sleep. This is your life. And then I just gave up until I found Sound Pain Solutions.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, drug, and pain-free procedures that help neuropathy sufferers like Greg find relief.
I feel better. Just feeling better is huge.
If you experience numbness, shooting or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Hi, Chef John Howie here. For 24 years, my team and I at Sea Star Restaurant and Raw Bar have called Bellevue home. We serve fresh, locally sourced seafood, farm fresh produce and poultry, and great steaks. At Sea Star, we like to say there's something for everyone, from the carnivore to the pescatarian to the vegetarian. Come see for yourself at Sea Star Restaurant and Raw Bar in Bellevue. SeaStarRestaurant.com, SeaStarRestaurant.com.
If you actually are the person that will take care of them after the fact, if you actually will be there for them, if you will pick up your phone, then they come back to you.
Lee Johnson Auto Family, the LJ way.
Ooh, that face. Quantum fiber internet loves that face.
That's Jamila.
Yay to Jamila.
She's thinking outside the box from inside the box.
Quantum fiber Wi-Fi keeps her meeting game strong. From the back door to the front lawn.
Rushing all of her video calls. Back to back to back video calls.
Quantum fiber internet blowing the soxies up all those people in all those boxes. Yay to you.
Switch today at quantumfiber.com. Additional pods may be needed to achieve Wi-Fi coverage in some locations. Limited availability. Service in select locations only.
Mariners and Padres tonight in San Diego. First pitch at 6:40. Pregame at 5:30. Hear every pitch live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
No matter how old you get, you always remember that one great teacher. Hi, this is Rick Rizzs, inviting you to join WSECU in celebrating Teacher of the Week. Great teachers inspire. Nominate a teacher you feel has changed a life in our community. This year, we're going to honor 24 great teachers with grants of $500, courtesy of WSECU, the credit union for Washington. Teachers are the real MVPs. Nominate an exceptional teacher now at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
If you're building decks in Puget Sound this season, you need materials you can trust and a supplier who delivers. Par Lumber carries premium TimberTech and Trex composite decking, railing, and accessories contractors depend on across the Northwest. With reliable job site delivery, we keep your projects moving so you can keep building. Right now, get 20% off deck railing and lighting with any TimberTech or Trex deck board purchase. For a limited time, only at Par. Visit par.com/decking to learn more. Par, where the builders go.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman for Bellevue Rare Coins, and I'm really excited to be working with them again as we're seeing the price of gold at all-time highs. And here's what that means for you. Items you haven't thought about in years can be worth thousands of dollars. Old jewelry, coin collections, gold watches, necklaces, and pendants. And a lot of people don't realize how valuable these items are. And right now, it's worth finding out. Find Bellevue Rare Coins in Bellevue, Linwood, Issaquah, and Tacoma, or go to BellevueRareCoins.com.
Shopping for a new Mazda? Shop the West Coast's largest Mazda dealer, Mazda of Everett, with more new Mazdas in stock than any dealer in the region. Shop over 780 new Mazdas. Click on the Mazda of Everett price. At Mazda of Everett, exceptional customer satisfaction is the standard. Plus, at Mazda of Everett, you negotiate directly with the owner. Locally owned, trusted by thousands. Shop MazdaofEverett.com and see why we're number one.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Jeff Passan was on Brock and Salk this morning, Bump, and he said something interesting about the Houston Astros. Take a listen.
I'll say this, and this person who I was talking with is a little bit predisposed to hating on the Astros, so take this for what it's worth. But he said to me, I worry that the Astros are going to lose 100 games this year because their pitching is that bad.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was rough. And it wasn't just Brian Abreu either, you know, getting Tatsuya Amai on the injured list this week, adding to what's already a list that's pretty deep with Hunter Brown and Josh Hader and others on it. The Astros just don't have pitching. The Mariners thankfully do.
Again, plenty of worry that Astros pitching is horrific, including hearing from one person they could lose 100 games. This is with Yordan Alvarez looking phenomenal to start the season, with them being one of the hotter offenses to start the season. This isn't like a hate on the Astros segment, which we can totally have if you want to. Rather, Bump, this is to say, while pitching can't be the only thing, we've seen the 2024 Seattle Mariners miss the playoffs because their pitching was phenomenal and their offense wasn't good enough. It is a reminder that consistency and talent and health there is so hugely important, and that while the bats have been inconsistent to start the year, the pitching is not. And that is something worth mentioning when it comes to the Mariners.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that pitch has been on point. Like I said, first or second in the league when it comes to quality starts. I haven't. Maybe it was one shaky moment. Who had a shaky moment this past weekend?
Luis Castillo.
Yeah, Castillo.
He's also had a quality start though. So
exactly. Yeah. You're gonna have your days like that. As long as those guys are good, I'm optimistic. That's what kind of kept me calm during the storm that was happening with the Mariners and the struggles and whatnot. Because I'm looking at the guys on the mound and they're on point. You're getting your quality starts. They're going deep into games. They're sitting guys down. I believe. Speaking of strikeouts too, I looked it up just on the break. The Mariners aren't striking out at the clip that they did last year too, so that's a good thing. I know that at first they weren't producing runs and they were cold, but they were not striking out at the same clip. So that's a big plus too. No, this team is about the arms. It's all about the guys on the mound, and so far they've been performing. Bryce will be back. who knows when. And when he does come back, you got another arm. So, no, I'm good right now.
Yeah, I think I just like I know that the opposite extreme isn't true. Like, we have evidence that's pretty painful of that, right? Of this pitching staff giving you everything, including health and fortune, but also like tons of quality starts, innings pitched. Logan's best year so far, a phenomenal year from Kirby, who's I think best was maybe prior, but phenomenal years from these guys, and they all stayed healthy, and it wasn't enough. I think the offense is so much better than it was then, and also the pitching is all still here. Last year, you ran into injuries to start the year. This year, Kirby gave you 7 2/3 yesterday. He wasn't even here to start the season last year. Logan went through 7. We had talked endlessly about how he couldn't give you those innings last year because of his approach. And there was a great comments from him post-game, but then a good write-up from Daniel Kramer and then Divish in the Seattle Times about his aggressiveness, his willing to pitch to contact, and slightly change that approach a little bit to be able to get those outs. I feel so good about where these arms are at. And by the way, that horrible start from Luis Castillo, your bullpen did manage to get you through, and your offense was good enough to fight back into it. The Mariners won that game because that's how bad Houston's arms are.
Yeah.
So it didn't even matter.
It didn't. You pick up
You're
pick
just
up
so
the
much
slack.
more complete.
It's a team sport, right? When one area struggles, the other one has to pick it up. If one player struggles and you go to the bullpen, they got to pick it up. It's a team sport. And Castillo's allowed a start or two that looks like that. He's going to have those because when he's on, he is on. He's been one of the more reliable arms with this ball club. And you hear the way that the organization talks about him. They love Castillo. They think he still has some heat, some gas in that arm too. So, yeah, he's allowed one.
Mm-hmm.
Pick him up.
Yeah. I just like that constant of like, would you rather have elite pitching and bad offense or bad pitching and elite offense? And
elite pitching.
I think elite pitching. Again, we know it's not enough, but it gives you a better chance.
Yeah, with elite pitching, you can squeak out a 2-1 game.
Yeah, it can be
blooper,
frustrating.
A little blooper in the right field by your catcher can win you a ball game with elite pitching.
You're gonna get some fun differentials in there.
Yeah, some fun differentials.
You're gonna get some fun differentials. You're gonna have to have elite defense as well behind that pitching. But I don't know. I was thinking about the Mariners maybe not having the start people want, especially from their stars, but because we're also focused on like Cal, Naylor, and Julio not looking exactly like we want them to, we really are collectively overlooking not just great starts from guys like Rayleigh and Young, but also just a great start from your pitching, which has just been stellar.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's Kirby's look good, Logan's look good, Castillo, he's even had his moments. Emerson's look good. This is they are exactly as advertised when it comes to the arms, right? The complete team that's taken a while to kind of turn the corner or show that they're capable of doing it. But the thing that we've been able to count on from day one are the guys on the mound. And you mentioned last week, if they can stay healthy by the end of the year, you should be in the fight. And that's all you want, right? Teams are going to start dwindling away. Summertime hits. If those arms can stay healthy, you should be hanging around.
Speaking of arms, Curtis, I'm going to pull you in for this one. The Mariners are facing much better ones in San Diego. I know Miller, obviously, one of them. He's had an insane stretch of strikeouts. But tell us what else we need to know about this series in terms of the pitching matchups.
Yeah, so the pitching matchups in this one, you've got Michael King against Brian Wu. King off to a pretty decent start this year, 3.24 ERA, 1-1, 15 strikeouts in those two starts. And then Randy Vasquez is tomorrow's starter. He's actually been really good. ERA of just 1.02 this year. And then Walker
if I could whistle,
Buehler.
I would.
Right, exactly. And then Walker Buehler, the veteran, who's bounced around the last few years, but spent 10 years with the Dodgers. He gets to start in the series finale. Hasn't been super sharp to start the year. So, I mean, the Mariners have Brian Wu going tonight. You've got Emerson Hancock going Wednesday. Thursday, Luis Castillo, that's going to be one I will have an eye on because of Castillo, his last two starts, hasn't been super sharp. But I think Wu gives the Mariners a really good shot tonight to win. Vasquez against Hancock, that one's going to be a little tricky, especially with how good Vasquez has been. But Thursday, probably going to be for the series in that one. I think I don't see a sweep from either side.
And don't forget, you can listen to each and every one of those games on the Seattle Sports app. Every Game One app, completely free. Take the game with you on the go when you're out running errands, on a boat, wherever. The Seattle Sports app travels with you, so you can enjoy every pitch of Rick Rizzs' final season all in one place at no cost. The easiest way to enjoy Seattle Mariners baseball. Back to the draft with Seahawks Draft Blog's Rob Staton next.
After reaching the NFL's mountaintop,
the Seahawks win Super Bowl 60.
The work continues for the Seahawks to keep the foundation strong. It's the 2026 NFL Draft. Next Thursday, April 23rd, only Seattle Sports begins its first-round draft coverage with a reigning NFL Executive of the Year.
Who are the real Seahawks?
The John Schneider Show at 4 p.m. with Brock Huard, Michael Bumpus, Steve Wyman, and host Bob Stelton live until 9 p.m. on Seattle Sports.
Upgrade your comfort and cut energy costs with Lake Washington Windows. Get 20% off energy-efficient windows and doors, plus $1,000 off whole home projects. Enjoy 18 months, no payments, no interest. Schedule your estimate by April 15th at lakewashingtonwindows.com.
The stock market was on fire in 2025 due to AI and tech stocks. Now is the time to set a strategy for 2026. It's a good opportunity to lock in those gains and invest into a stable platform. With $8 trillion in cash sitting on the sidelines, investors are either scared or unsure where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Norm. Norm, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
Spending too much money on insurance, and it just kept on going up higher and higher and higher. And this last time I did the First Mark Challenge.
So they were able to save you some money, Norm?
Oh, yeah, at least $2,000 a year.
What?
At least.
Wow. You ever feel like, man, I wish I would have taken that First Mark Challenge earlier?
Yes. I mean, $2,000 I could have saved a year, over probably 4 or 5 years. Wow.
How would you describe their customer service?
Fantastic. Beyond expectation. Call First Mark. They treat you like a real person, that they have your best interest in mind.
Norm did it. My family did it. You got to do it. And it's totally free. Go take the First Mark Challenge. See how much money they can save you like they did Norm, and how much better your coverage will get to. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory I get to talk to. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. First Mark Insurance. They work for you.
Your reputation matters. That's why so many landscape professionals choose Gravely. You can save up to 20% on Gravely commercial mowers during the Gravely Mow the Distance sales event going on now through the 19th. Visit your local Gravely dealer today.
Spring is the perfect time to make improvements that protect and add value to your home. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. For decades, homeowners across the Pacific Northwest have trusted our team for roofing, siding, windows, and custom decking. This spring, save up to $3,000, or qualified homeowners can take advantage of zero down, zero payments, and zero interest up to 24 months. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to schedule your free estimate.
Do you have a car, truck, or SUV you're willing to sell? How about an RV or commercial vehicle? Wayscar Ford in Auburn will buy it from you. And when they resell your old vehicle, they'll split the profit with you 50-50. That's right. You'll get paid twice. I'm here with Mark Clymer of Wayscar Ford. Mark, I'm not surprised your vehicle profit sharing program's doing well. It's a fantastic offer.
It sure is, Stacy. We've been buying a lot of cars off this thanks to your advertising. And I got to tell you, customers are loving it. They're getting top dollar for their vehicle up front. They're getting paid right now. And the best part is when we resell that vehicle, they're getting 50% of the profit. A lot of people have vehicles right now that are sitting around and they're worth a lot of money, and they're saying, you know, what the heck? I want to sell it. I don't want to deal with it myself, but I don't want to give it away either. This is the perfect opportunity for them to get the most they can for the car without having to go through the hassle of selling it themselves.
Exclusively at Wayscar Ford, celebrating 104 years in Auburn. WayscarFord.com. That's WayscarFord.com.
Taxes was waiting on the refund you needed yesterday.
All right, your car repair is going to run about $3,000.
Now Taxes is getting back on the road with TurboTax and Credit Karma, where you can get your refund up to 5 days faster and get personalized guidance to take every dollar further. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Deposit a federal refund into Credit Karma Money account and early submission of refund data by IRS required. Terms apply. Banking services provided by MVB Bank, Inc. Member FDIC. Credit Karma is not a bank.
Help DEA keep our communities safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, April 25th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's DEATakeback.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
A surprise move in yesterday's WNBA draft. Golden State selected LSU star Flau'jae Johnson, number 8 overall, and then traded her to the Seattle Storm for Marta Suarez and a 2028 second-round pick. The M swept the Astros in a 4-game series with a 6-1 win in that finale yesterday. Josh Naylor, who hasn't had a chance to heat up yet, turned it on with 2 home runs, accounting for 5 of Seattle's 6 runs. M's open a series against the Padres tonight at 6:40.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Seahawks Draft Blog's Rob Staton joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Rob, how's it going?
Yeah, really good. What is it, like 9 days, though? Like, after the draft's finished, what am I going to have to talk about? So, gonna try and relish the next 9 days.
And I am looking forward to that. I can't wait to ask you about the players they end up taking. In the meantime, all we can do is try to project and look ahead. Last time we asked you a lot about Jadarian Price at 32. And we've been still hearing a lot of rumors about that, a lot of people really liking that fit for Seattle. Is there anything in you that would be hesitant about taking a running back with that first pick if Seattle were to stay at 32?
Not really, apart from the value side of things. Like, if you view Jadarian Price as the 50th best player in the draft and you end up taking him at 32 simply because you think it's a huge need, I'm a bit uncomfortable with that. I'd rather them take more of a best player available approach than sort of reaching to draft a running back. It feels like that's kind of how they've made mistakes in the past, a few years ago now, but that's kind of the thing that was happening there that meant that the first round picks did not go as successfully as they perhaps hoped. But if they view him as anything from like the 40th best, 35th best player, I've got no problem with that. And a lot of the data that you look at, whether it's explosive run rate, whether it's yards after contact percentage, whether it's missed tackles force rate, all of these things suggest that Jadarian Price is the kind of player that they need. They need big plays at running back. He provides big plays. So if he is the pick at 32, I'm not going to complain too much about it.
I'm trying to figure out, I'm looking at this team, and there's no real need, right? Need at running back, of course, but I look at all the other positions, and I feel like they're okay. With only 4 picks, I'm trying to figure out exactly what their strategy is going to be. Is there such thing as a disappointing draft from the Seahawks?
I think they perhaps deserve the benefit of the doubt because they've just won the Super Bowl, so I don't think anybody should be too disappointed regardless of the decisions they make. For example, I'm not the biggest Zion Young fan, because I think if you get a D arrest and a speeding arrest weeks before the draft season begins, that does not exactly scream reliable and smart. And the tough, reliable, and smart mantra has been a thing that has really helped the Seahawks. So that's a concern that I have. The burst, his 10-yard split, his size is slower than LJ Collier's. It's slower than Darius Robinson, who's not had an impact in the league. I wouldn't be crazy about Zion Young. If they take Zion Young at 32, I'm not going to complain at all about it because Mike Macdonald's had an influence on this pick. Mike Macdonald is the head coach that's just won the Seahawks a Super Bowl. So 100% I'm just going to buy in and say, he knows more than me. I'm not going to complain about that. So really, whatever the decisions they make across the board, I don't think there's anything they could do that I'm going to come out of this and go, I'm really disappointed with that. Because these are the people who created what was a fairly unexpected Super Bowl championship last season. So I'm happy to roll with whatever they do. I'm going to have opinions on the players, but ultimately I'm going to let them go and not criticize too much whatever happens next week.
Speaking of, though, is there an edge that you would like them to take, or that you'd be like, okay, now I'm really excited? Not only am I not questioning them, but like I'm really excited about this pick.
I don't think there's an edge that I'm sort of really, really excited about. That when you look at things like, I think they need some speed. I think they need burst off the edge. I think they need some quick wins in the pass rush. So one of the things I've been looking at are, max speed during the season. This is not on a combine. This is not, any kind of testing at a pro day. This is GPS tracking on the field during the college football season. Who are the fastest players over 10 yards? Malachi Lawrence and Cassius Howell were the two fastest. Gabe Yakus was the third fastest. So I'm looking at that kind of data there and thinking, okay, they're the kind of players who are going to hit the outside shoulder of a tackle really quickly, and then can they bend and straighten. But the problem is like Malachi Lawrence is the fastest player, and his pass rush win percentage is really good as well. Over 2 years at UCF, he's got the length, he's got the size, he's explosive, got 40-inch vertical. All of those things hold true. But when he tries to bend the edge, sometimes you see a little bit of stiffness there. He can't turn the corner. He loses balance. When you lose balance, the tackle's just going to push you over in the NFL and you're not going to get home. So it's like, how much do you want to read into the fact that the speed's there, the quickness there, the bursts there, but has he got it all to put it all together and become a really effective NFL player? The other thing that he's got is like high-speed plays during the college football season. That's any play over 16 miles an hour. He had 17 of those last season. To compare that to someone like Zion Young had 3. Gabe Yakus had 4. Malachi Lawrence had 17. So if you want speed to threaten at the pass rush, it would suggest that Malachi Lawrence could be a good option there.
The offensive line was a big topic the past 4 or 5 seasons here, and they're bringing everybody back. Do you like this offensive line, or do you feel like they need to improve a bit?
I like the offensive line. I'm totally down with them taking an offensive guard with either 32 or 64. My kind of preference for this draft is just keep building the trenches. If front 7 on defense and offensive line, I'd like to see them go in that direction, because that to me is like the strength of the team. And if you can even strengthen that strength even more, then great, because that's how I think you generally win football games in the NFL, or it's how this Seahawks team is going to win games. They don't have a Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen quarterback. What they have are, a really balanced roster, and they're very good in the trenches. So, there are a series of players. I did some study on this. Like John Schneider last year was talking about 30-30-30 as something they look for offensive linemen. That's a plus 30-inch vertical, 30 reps on the bench press. And it used to be called the Wonderlic. I don't know what it's called now, but there's some kind of mental testing that players do. If you get a score of 30 in that as well, Gray Zabel and Bryce Campbell, who they drafted last year, both ticked those boxes. And you've got Kalen Rutledge, you've got Emmanuel Pregnon, you've got Chase Bisontis, who are all, by the way, being talked as potential late first-round picks, who all tick, or they at least tick 2 of those boxes. I don't have the mental testing data. So if you're looking at those players, and in particular Pregnon and Rutledge, because they've got good zone blocking grades, if you could insert one of those 2 at right guard, and Rutledge played right guard throughout his college football career, he's incredibly physical, he is a brutal player on the offensive line. If you chuck him in there, you've got him for 4 years. If he can develop at the rate that Gray Zabel did, you might have the best defensive line in the NFL, and that to me would be a really positive thing to have.
Last year to start the season, I kept saying I think wide receiver is like a sneaky area of need for this team, or a sneaky question. It didn't end up mattering at all, because even though they didn't have massive amounts of depth, not only did they add Rashid Shaheed at the deadline, which was great, but JSN had 1,800 yards, so it didn't matter. But that being said, entering this year, I keep hearing about this draft. It's actually a pretty solid draft for receivers. Do you still view this receiver room as one that could stand a new addition? Do you really like where they are? How do you feel about it?
I think 2 things about that. On the one hand, they've brought everybody back. So you kind of feel like maybe that's a sign that they're not going to go in this direction. And they only have 4 picks right now. Like, they may get 1 or 2 more as we move along through the rounds. But at the moment, it's 4 picks. I would suggest it's perhaps unlikely. But I was speaking to somebody about 3 or 4 weeks ago now, and I said, what's the deepest position in this draft? And they said wide receiver. And if you're looking, you've got the guys who are going to go early, Carnell Tate, Mekhi Lemon, Jordan Tyson, stuff like that. If you then look from maybe around 64 where they're going to pick, all the way through to the 4th round, so that's off the back of 96 where they're picking in round 3 and beyond there. I've got another 17 players who are probably going to get drafted in that range. So there's every chance if they get to a point where they go, the value is just too good. Maybe they'll take one of these guys, and it might not be an obvious player. It could be a Bryce Lance, brother of Trey, who is so quick, so dynamic as a receiver at North Dakota State. It could be DeJohn Stribling, who used to be with Washington State, ended up at Ole Miss. I think he's a massively underrated player. You've got people like Skylar Bell, Ted Hurst, other players later on who could be available to you. Harrison Wallace at Ole Miss, I think, is a really cool player. So there are plenty of numbers there. And if they're bringing in Caden McDonald for an official visit and Josiah Trotter for an official visit, 2 positions that aren't huge needs, it makes you think that they are minded to go best player available. And if best player available at 96, let's say, is a receiver, maybe they would take that player.
What do you think the relationship with Schneider and McDonald is like this year? I mean, you won a Super Bowl championship. You brought some guys in. How much influence do you think McDonald has on this whole situation?
I can imagine he's got a huge influence because look at what he's done. He's only been a defensive coordinator and a head coach for 4 years in the NFL. As a defensive coordinator at Baltimore, he takes them from the 28th ranked defense to number 1 in 2 seasons. And then in Seattle, he takes them to the Super Bowl as the main overall leader of the team in 2 years. And he clearly knows what he's doing and has got ideas. Like the Nick Imanwari pick, I'm not suggesting for a second that John Schneider was not interested. And then Mike McDonald knocked on his door and said, hey, there's this guy in South Carolina we should draft. I'm sure it was a collaborative effort. But that, to me, looked like Mike McDonald saying, I can really make use of this player. Let's go and get hold of this skill set. There was talk a year ago that if Jalen Walker lasted to number 18, that maybe the Seahawks would have been interested there. And he was a hybrid pass rusher linebacker. And, they're having people like R. Mason Thomas in for an official visit, who is similarly a hybrid kind of potential linebacker pass rusher. It makes me think that Mike McDonald likes to have an idea of how a player is going to fit, have specific roles, to be creative, to sort of think of ways that he can challenge opponents. And you've got to take his advice and his expertise on that. And I'm sure that John Schneider's doing that with every single player that they're drafting, not just with the defense either, with the offense too.
How do you view the general philosophy about a more bites at the apple kind of thing? Like at 32, for instance, on night 1 of the draft, we'll all be covering for hours and hours. And then when it gets to 32, even if they trade back and I think, okay, I have faith in John Schneider, I'm not surprised. I'm going to be a tiny bit disappointed that they didn't end up taking someone. But I wanted to ask you, should they be able to find a partner? Do you think that that's the move that you're like, I would do this as a GM. I hate sitting there with just 4 picks, half the size of, I think, the second smallest class that Schneider's ever had.
I think you've got to stick to the board. If there's a player at 32 who is just so far ahead of the next stack of players that you've got, I don't think it's worth, in this draft anyway, getting a 5th rounder or a 4th rounder or whatever it is. If you're trading down 20 spots, you might get a 3rd rounder. But if you're trading down to, say, 36, 37, 38, then you're not going to get an awful lot. And this is not the draft on day 3 where, having a whole bunch of fresh picks. It's why they were prepared to trade for Rashid Shaheed. Those picks, I think, were seen as, expendable for the cost of getting Rashid Shaheed in to help you win a Super Bowl. And I'm not sure how desperate they'll be to replenish those picks. They might be. They might not be. So I don't think it's absolutely 100% necessary. But if you get to 32 and you've got, let's say, 10 players who are all graded exactly the same way, they're stacked in the same range on your board, they've got the same kind of grade, and you think we're prepared to take, because 6 of those players are positional needs, we know we can trade down 5 spots and we are guaranteed to get one of these players. Why would you not get an extra 4th, an extra 5th in that situation? You might as well do it. So I think it strictly comes down to the board. Someone like Caden McDonald, I was really surprised they had him for an official visit because I don't think anybody expects he's going to get there to 32, but maybe they've got some information that suggests he might. If he lasted to 32, I think you're just going to run to the podium as quickly as you can and go, we will take that big defensive tackle and we will set that position up for the next 5-6 years. If he's not there and some of these other players are gone that you really like, I think trading down to the late 30s or even 40 range, or even if that Steelers offer and they come way up and they give you 4 picks or whatever, that becomes very interesting. I think you consider it, but it really comes down to what your board's telling you.
I live my life preparing for the worst. Like, I always just expect the worst, prepare for the worst. So I'm expecting Jadarian Price to not be there at 32. If he's there, I'll be excited. It'll be a treat. If he's not there, is there a running back that you do like? I know this is a thin draft when it comes to running backs. Is there a sleeper that you like?
Well, this is the thing that they're going to have to consider, is that if Jadarian Price is there at 32 and you decide, we don't want to do that, we're not quite convinced, we think he's more of a day 2 kind of player. If you don't take him, you get to 64 and he's gone. And let's say that you don't view any of the running backs at 64 as good value either. You're then waiting till pretty much the 100th pick, hoping that maybe a Jonah Coleman's still there, or an Emmett Johnson's still there, or a Mike Washington's still there. And there's every chance that they might be gone. And then you just miss out completely. So you do have to work the puzzle a little bit to decide, are we going to just take Price and not have to worry about the running back position? Or are we going to wait? If they do wait, the name that I keep coming back to is Coleman. Like, he is somebody who has been in the VMAC. They've spent a bit of time with him. He is friends with Seahawks players already. Like, he's close. He will fit seamlessly into that locker room. If you look at his 2024 numbers, his explosive run rate is nearly 20%. It's incredible. It's just below where Jadarian Price's would be. His missed tackle force rate is from 2024 is way ahead of anybody else's in 2025. And then the yards after contact per attempt is just below Jeremiah Love. So this is a player for me who, if he came out a year ago to the league, would have been a second-round pick. You might be able to get him at 96 because of an injury hit situation in 2025. If he's there at 96 and you haven't taken a Jadarian Price early, that's the guy I'm putting a big ring around for the Seahawks.
I wanted to ask you a couple things all about Chris Johnson. One was whether or not you'd heard about like the rumors with that 30 visit. There were some people going, it actually was never scheduled. Other people saying he didn't show, and just kind of asking what you've heard about that. And then also for you to tell us about Chris Johnson a little bit. We talked with Dane Brugler the other day, who loves him as a potential fit for Seattle. What do you see from him? And then what are you hearing in terms of that 30 visit?
Well, the agent has said he never had a visit scheduled, and that's not unusual. You know, the Seahawks don't. It doesn't really mean anything either. So the Seahawks don't. They've not got a great history of taking a player who came in for a visit with their first pick anyway. So I wouldn't read too much into that, but he never had a visit, and that was an erroneous suggestion there. In terms of him as a player, he's got the best zone grade of all the quarterbacks in this draft, and the Seahawks run a ton of zone. It's like 75% of the time they're running in zone. So you've got to like that about him. When you watch him on tape, I think his sort of ability he plays very off. Like, there's a huge gap between him and the receiver a lot of the time. And it allows him to sort of play with instinct and read everything. He got a lot of interceptions. He's a very smart player. The one thing that I saw on tape a lot was that he still got beat, even though he was playing quite a way off his receiver down the field. And that meant for a lot of people, everybody was expecting he's probably going to run a 4.55, a 4.50 or something like that. And then he gets to the combine, runs a 4.40, and you're thinking, okay, so he has got the speed. Maybe it's just a type technical thing that he needs to work on. So I think that has maybe sort of pushed him back in towards, like, there was talk he was going to be a first-round pick, and then he runs a 4.40. Now everybody expects that he's going to go in the top 35 picks. He is a really legit option for the Seahawks at 32. And there's two other things to remember here. First of all, character off the charts. Like, everybody raves about this guy and says that his character is first class. And we know the Seahawks have really sort of reined in on that, and that they want high character, smart, tough, reliable players. He is that down to a T. He's one of the best examples of that in this draft class. And the other thing, he didn't transfer. Like, the Seahawks have sneakily paid a lot of attention to the players that are moving around. Like, Colton Hood had 3 seasons in college football and played for 3 different teams. Chris Johnson had the chance to leave San Diego State and go and play somewhere else. He stayed at San Diego State. And I'm telling you now, the Seahawks will love that. I think the bigger question as to whether or not the Seahawks would take him at 32 is he even going to be there? Because you've got teams like Kansas City and Miami in front of them who might take him off the board. But he's there at 32. He is one of the 3 or 4 most likely options for the Seahawks in this draft. Make sure you're checking out Rob's work, Seahawks Draft Blog. He is Rob Staton. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
Let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, whose development may have taken a hit with the hire of Fleury?
Probably not a big problem, but you drafted Jalen Milroe. We saw him early last year, some gadget plays. He fumbles the football, and my man's set for the rest of the year because you have Drew Lock over there. I just wonder what his progression is going to be like. You do have Brian Fleury coming over here who runs a similar offense with the 49ers, but the language is going to be different. Some reads will be different. I'm sure he'll be fine, but I just started thinking about who's going to be affected the most when it comes to the new offense. I think Sam's going to be fine. He's worked with him before. Sam was with the 49ers. He understands the language. He's a pro. He's been on teams, different offenses before. But I started thinking about the young guys, especially young quarterbacks, and how they develop. I thought about Jalen Hurts. He's been with 6 or 7 different coordinators. He's found a way to still have some success. But I just thought about Milroe because I wonder if he'll be implemented into this offense a bit more than last year. Last year, it's like we threw him out there. We got scared, like, oh, he ain't ready. Just sit him down. We'll run with Drew Lock if need be. So no, I'm just thinking about Milroe. Him learning the playbook, him getting a relationship with the OC, and just him developing, because I feel like eventually he's either going to have an opportunity to be the next guy or he's going to be trade bait for the next guy. Just thought about my guy, Milroe.
It is crazy how much of a backseat he's taken. Unsurprisingly, it's a good thing, right? Like, it probably would have been a bad season for Seattle if we're talking about, like, how does Milroe build on his 5 starts?
Right.
We don't want that conversation, but just considering the flurry of debates that we were all having when he was drafted, it just kind of became nothing.
Yeah.
Second down. What concerns you when it comes to the 32nd pick?
A lot of us, you and I included, other analysts, talk about the 32nd pick like Price is just going to be there. Like, he's there, let's take him. I went on NFL.com. Nick Shook wrote an article about teams' needs. There are 2 teams that he thinks before the Seahawks need a running back. And if they go that route, then Price isn't going to be there. How are these guys going to pivot? Those 2 teams are the Jags and the Broncos. All right, the Jags have the 23rd pick. The Broncos have the 30th pick. So there's 2 teams right there that can possibly take Price before that. What's going to be your pivot? I think if they do go Price there, the Hawks definitely trade back and try to get more value for their picks. So that's another way for me to look at this draft and find a story to not be excited about, but just to kind of watch, because I do see it. I think the Broncos could use a running back. The Jags lost Achan, not ETN, Achan. Okay, I did it. So yeah, just something for you to look at. What's the pivot going to be? If he's gone, I think they trade back, focus on defense.
Third down. What do you like about Travis Hunter?
I like that he went on X and kind of popped off a little bit about playing both sides of the football.
Feisty Travis Hunter is what you like.
So Ian Rappaport put it out there like, look, man, these guys are just going to focus him on the defense side of the ball. He retweets, now who told you this? I like that about him. I think that he wants to be great. He wants to play both sides of the football, but we know how hard that is, man. The last person I seen do it and be effective was Deion Sanders, and he didn't even do it every single play. Deion played offense, defense, he returned kicks. He did all that. I think Hunter has that type of capability in him, but if he keeps getting hurt, if he can't withstand a season, then yeah, you got to focus on one side. But I do like that he wants to be great. He wants to play both sides of the football. Everything I've heard about this dude, I know a couple guys who are in the organization say, look, he's early, he leaves late. You don't have to worry about him off the field. He's focused. He doesn't go out. He just plays video games. He's locked in. For your own good, you should probably focus on one side of the football, because that body's going to break down fairly quickly. But I love that he wants to be great.
Fourth down. We were just joined by Seahawks draft log's Rob Staton. Anything stand out from that conversation with Rob?
Yeah, I like that he pointed out Jonah Coleman. If Price isn't there, maybe that's the pivot, right? You move back and you see if Jonah Coleman's going to be there, running back out of UW. A couple years ago, he had 1,000 yards. He scored a bunch of touchdowns. He's a bowling ball. He will run through you. He'll run around you. He's explosive. I think that's a name that keeps popping up on the text lines, too. People text Jonah Coleman. Obviously, he's a local product over there at UW. I think that would be a good consolation prize if you're not able to get Price. So, Rob doing his thing. Weekly meeting with him. We'll keep it rolling.
Speaking of Price, I have a question from a listener for you. Is Price a huge upgrade on George Holani? Or maybe they're saying, is he? It feels like the biggest need at running back is explosive ability. Does he actually have that?
Definitely. He does. He runs a 58, 40-something, 40-something, 30-something. If you just go watch the film on this dude, I said it last week, he presses the line of scrimmage. He has that great lateral movement, bounces outside, and dips. So, I like that. And big ups to the 509 to point out that he said, the Dolphins have the 30th pick. No, Denver gave it to Miami. Excuse me. That's what I meant. I got the picks mixed up. But, there's 2 teams in front of them that can grab that running back. And, yes, Price has big playability in him. Just go on YouTube and look at 2 seconds of his highlights, and you'll see it.
You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. Coming up, WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert continues to give the strangest answers when put in front of a mic.
Trident's up and brooms up.
They get the mop, they get the sweep. Swung on. Laser. Has he done it again? Josh Naylor. Lightning strikes twice.
After the Mariners sweep the division rival Astros, it's back on the road for a brief 3-gamer in San Diego. Mariners, Padres, first pitch at 6:40, 5:30 pregame. Tonight, get every pitch of every game all with one app, the Seattle Sports app.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Do you need a new roof? Then trust your neighbors at 3 Tree Roofing to get you taken care of this spring. Schedule your free estimate at 3treeroofing.com and secure $500 off your roof replacement. Right now, you can still take advantage of spring pricing and beat the summer rush. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Help DEA keep our communities safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, April 25th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's DEATakeback.com.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolaid spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Mariners and Padres tonight in San Diego. First pitch at 6:40. Pregame at 5:30. Hear every pitch live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
And we're back. The big headline today. Your Washington Credit Union, WSECU, has done it again.
5 straight years as Forbes' best in-state credit union. That's a dynasty, Rick, like 5 straight championship rings.
Or 5 seasons hitting 400, Steve.
Holy catfish! If you want a team that wins year after year, join your Washington Credit Union, WSECU. Details at WSECU.org.
Well, spring is all about getting ready for summer, isn't it? Hey, Brock Heward here, and working out in your own home, well, it is the best. We've been doing so for years, and you can allow Top Fitness to create your own home gym. And right now, get spring special financing with 0% interest for 12 months, plus mention me and receive an $150 credit towards any purchase over $1,000. Spring is here, so go get into Top Fitness with locations in Tukwila, Linwood, and Bellevue, or simply visit topfitness.com for more info.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Rizzs here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafee, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. Improve your play with 25% off windows and doors or 12 months, no payments, and no interest. And we're giving back with 2 $5,000 scholarships for our local youth sports teams. Upgrade your home at PellaPNW.com.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman for Bellevue Rare Coins, and I'm really excited to be working with them again as we're seeing the price of gold at all-time highs. And here's what that means for you. Items you haven't thought about in years can be worth thousands of dollars. Old jewelry, coin collections, gold watches, necklaces, and pendants. And a lot of people don't realize how valuable these items are. And right now, it's worth finding out. Find Bellevue Rare Coins in Bellevue, Linwood, Issaquah, and Tacoma, or go to BellevueRareCoins.com.
Around the Diamond is sponsored by Klein Jewelers.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
It is The Timeline. Taking a look around the world of sports, we are starting with the WNBA. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert continues to give the weirdest answers when put in front of a mic, like this one. She snapped back at a reporter for asking a pretty innocuous question on Monday night.
How much do you want to stay the commissioner of the WNBA? How much longer do you anticipate to be in this role?
Well, thank you, Maddie. I do crack up how everybody's focused on me, and you should be focused on the hundreds of amazing women and thousands of women who run this league outside of myself. Our women owners, our women board of governors, our women GMs and women head coaches, and my whole team of, diverse women and men who are working hard every day to get the 30th season tipped off by May 8th. But I appreciate that you're focused on me as well. I wonder whether you would ask that of a man, by the way.
I do think women and men are treated differently in a lot of ways. That's real. I don't think this is one of those moments. And in my personal opinion, I think that reporter should have flipped it and been like, would you be this defensive about a question from a man? I think you trade sexism accusation barbs. I think that's what you do.
Uno reverse.
You know what I mean? Exactly. Right back to you, Kathy. I don't know, Kathy, would you be this defensive if a reporter who was a male asked the question? And then what are you going to say if you're Kathy? You're like, well, that's what I would do.
Yeah, I was a bit aggressive. I didn't understand that. Maybe, sometimes things overlap. Maybe there was a question that was asked by someone else that got her going, and then that just kind of triggered that response. It happens to people sometimes. She's human, but no, that response didn't feel warranted.
Well, and it happens all the time with every league's commissioner. Hey, yeah. Roger Goodell, how much longer are you going to be doing this job?
Yes.
He's in his 60s now. He's probably not going to want to do it, into his 70s or 80s, and, he'll give a roundabout answer saying, I'm happy where I'm at, or like Rob Manfred saying 2029 is when I'll hang it up.
An example of a question that would be a double standard would be, Kathy, you have 2 children. How are you able to stay as involved in their lives when you're a commissioner? Like, do you feel like you're neglecting them? And it's like, well, wait a minute. There are plenty of other commissioners that have children and wives and families, and no one seems to care at all. Like, that would be an example of a double standard question, or a question that you would never ask a male commissioner. And how are you still involved in your children's lives?
Oh, dang.
But this is not, to Curtis's point, this is not one of them. This is a very innocuous question. Asked by a female reporter.
And, good on the reporter for mid-answer being like, I would have asked this of a male.
Exactly. She then took a dig at the Players Association for wanting guaranteed housing in their recently negotiated CBA.
I didn't know how important and emotional that was for them. Because I just assume having 2 children in their 20s that, who pay for their own housing, that once they were making these much increased salaries, that wasn't something they would need or want, but they made it very clear it was very important to them, and it was an emotional issue. So I'd say that was the major issue. Everything else we wanted for the players. Obviously, again, we're representing the owners. We wanted to pay them more. We wanted to give them more benefits, up the 401k match, all the stuff that we did in this contract.
See, Bump, that's an example of an inside thought that should stay inside. That's an inside thought you don't let outside.
I mean, she's making sense, though. I mean, they're getting paid more money. Why do you need housing?
I just don't know that what you should say as commissioner is basically, I mean, I have 2 kids that are the same age that pay for their own housing. So, like, it's a little bit of a jab. It's an unnecessary
it's a jab for
thing.
sure.
And it's something you can privately think. Like, you can privately be like, wait a minute, you're getting paid as much as my kids are getting or more than that. Like, why can't you? You can privately think it. Just, you don't
She should have
really
just
say
said with the
it.
salaries that they're making now, I would assume that they can afford their own housing.
Yeah.
Didn't need to throw the kids in there. She ain't wrong, though. But, yeah, once you frame it that way, you leave the door open for some criticism.
You leave the inside thought inside. Leave the inside thought inside. That's what you're supposed to do.
The whole sticking point with the guaranteed housing was so many WNBA players still play overseas for a portion of the year, and like they don't want to have to pay for a place that they're not living in for half the year. So I think they made a big stink to put it in the new CBA.
And Bump, you can disagree with that, which I know that you do because I saw you just now. Like, I get it. Like, I totally.
They're making coin now. And if you want to, now you make decisions. You want to play overseas, you're making enough money here, go play overseas, but you got to pay your bills.
Well, and maybe that's the approach that Kathy should have taken. Like, I'm hoping that eventually we get to a place where, our league is making so much money or where they don't have to go overseas, where we don't even have to have this conversation. For right now, it was something that, as a surprise to me, really mattered to the players, so we tried to meet them halfway. That's the move.
Yeah.
But, and again, you can privately think like, come on, man.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Moving on. Do we think anything about insider coverage is going to change in the wake of the Diana Russini and Mike Vrabel situation? ESPN's Buster Olney was asked that question on ESPN Radio.
Yeah, when I read a story and I can connect all the dots. This person, this reporter has a relationship with this agency, and here's how the truth is being bent because of that relationship. And that, man, I see it too. Like I'm aware of what's going on behind the scenes, and I think that's the cost of all this. Right? When you have these situations, and I'm not just talking about, potentially personal relationships. I'm talking about just sort of the understanding, hey, if I give you this, quote unquote scoop, then you can bend the number this way, or you can bend the truth this way. It kind of reminds me, it's as if I'm a player, who is in the middle of the 90s steroid era, where you're looking around going, come on, with some of the stuff that's happening. And, the people who suffer for it, of course, are the viewers, the listeners, because they don't have the context in the way that, someone like me or the executive I was talking with has about what's going on behind the scenes. And I really hope it's something that gets, scrutinized here as we move forward.
I liked his answer a lot.
What'd you like about it?
I liked that he included what was wrong as a whole with the industry to him.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we are getting very understandably focused on this scandal, and I love a juicy scandal, but focused on the scandal of Vrabel and Russini, and that it very much looks like these two allegedly were having some inappropriate relations. And there are some ethical questions there on Russini's part. But what I like about Buster's answer is there are all kinds of borderline unethical transactional things that happen for these big names in sports, right? There might be someone out there who, let's say he's an insider whose job it is to report a lot of things, and he sends gifts to agents who send him things, and he maybe he buys vacations for players or whatever it is. There's all kinds of transactions happening in the reporting world, and that ends up shaping narratives that are out there. What Adam Schefter says, and it's well sourced. He's obviously has a journalistic background too, so it's a bit different, but maybe I'll use someone else. But like what a big insider says is still shaped behind the scenes by who wants that story out. And Buster says, and the losers here are the fans or people that don't have that context. They just see something and they go, oh, well, this is the truth. It came from this person. Or this is what it is. It came from this person. And it's like, well, there's always incentive to what's reported when.
Yeah, and that's the reality of just society in general, right? It's relationship based. Is what can you do for me? You scratch my back, I scratch yours. And when someone gets the information, in a certain way, they have the liberty of shaping it, shaping the story the way that they see it. It might not even be the exact truth, but in their eyes, this is how I see it. This is going to get clicks, so I'm going to frame it this way. Instead of just sometimes just, what are the facts? What do you know? What do you know to be true and what's not true? If you kept it that way, then you let other people kind of decide how they want to digest it or whatnot.
Exactly.
The influence that kind of tweaks things.
And we see insiders as almost like Associated Press, like where it's you look at Schefter or Rappaport or Rossini or whoever it is, and you just think, oh, this is just opinionless, right? This is just a thing. It's just a truth. It's this person signed here for this deal. This is happening here. Like there's surely no angle to this, but that's not how it is with any of them. And some of them have better morals and ethics than others. For instance, I think there's an ethical failing on allegedly Rossini's part here, and Vrabel's. But I like that he made it clear that like this isn't about one reporter and us jumping on like what's wrong with her. It's the industry as a whole has some pretty transactional relationships that affect how we talk about the sport. I liked it.
Yeah.
So let's go around the diamond. Brian Wu and the Mariners start a 3-game series against the Padres tonight. Pre-game at 5:30, first pitch at 6:40 p.m. right here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. And that's Around the Diamond, brought to you by Klein Jewelers, Edmonds. Hype Train coming your way next.
Wyman and Bob, every afternoon at 2.
We had the John Schneider show yesterday. He's in rarefied air, I think, with the fan base. He could pretty much make any move he wants, and the fans are going to go, okay, yeah, I'm on board.
There's one. Draft at number 32, draft a kicker. there we go. I think that's the only thing they could do.
Well, all of a sudden that guy's booting 66-yarders on the regular, and people are going, see?
Only on Seattle Sports and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
Happy birthday to Silver Reef Casino Resort. This month marks 24 years. One more year, and they'll be able to rent a car. All jokes aside, Silver Reef Casino Resort is actually pretty new in the grand scheme of things. If you've been there, you know what to expect. If you haven't, hey, do it this month. They're having celebrations all month long, marching their 24 years of fun, relaxation, entertainment, and good food. Speaking of good food, my personal favorite is the steakhouse. Go on and treat yourself. Make a reservation online. Why not make a weekend out of it? It's going to be 60 degrees, long days, make for a perfect excuse to go to Loomis Trails Golf Course. It's a hidden gem, one of the best public courses in the entire state. Lastly, remember those celebrations I was talking about? Rose to Riches all this month is capped off on April 25th, where you can win a 2026 Mercedes-Benz GLC 300 all-wheel drive. You just got to hop on 5, get off exit 260 at Silver Reef Casino Resort. Make your reservation at silverreefcasino.com. That's silverreefcasino.com.
Total Wellness at Home is here. Save up to $2,800 on a saltwater hot spring spa and enjoy healthy, relaxing soaks. Save up to $12,000 on an endless pool swim spa for a year-round retreat. These massive savings end April 30th.
Our number one thing with them is always like, hey, welcome someone in and assure them that they're in the right place. We're going to take care of them.
Lee Johnson Auto Family, the LJ way.
This week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to my friend Brock Heward. Brock, why did you call First Mark?
Brandy, it is so good to talk to you. It's been too long, and we made that call. And the only bummer is we waited too long. I know you hear from people that you talk to as well as I do to take the First Mark Insurance Challenge. I just wish we would have done it earlier. You know, Brandy, the word that comes to my mind is a word I use on my sports show a lot, and that is connective tissue. It's important in team building. It's important to players in a locker room to be connected to others. And when it comes to insurance, it's so complicated. It's stressful, and you just don't even want to deal with it. And that's where the connective tissue of having a pro, having a broker, having a partner, and most of all, having a teammate like First Mark Insurance was the best connective tissue we could find.
Brock did it. My family did it. You got to do it. It's free. Take the First Mark Challenge. See how much they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
Have a troublesome tree in need of removal? P&D Tree Service is up to the task. Local experts in tree removal for residential and commercial. If it's 1 tree or 15 trees, close quarters or land clearing, call P&D Tree. They'll get the job done safely and quickly, turning multi-day jobs into a few hours, saving you time and money. They'll clear trees away from homes to help you save on home insurance. They specialize in large tree removal. Ever see a tree removed by crane? P&DTreeService.com.
Yay to Bruce, the streaming king.
With quantum fiber internet,
He's gonna binge.
He wants more. He's got to have more.
More bedtime true crime.
More podcasts in the shower.
Quantum fiber Wi-Fi has the power. More fast internet speed.
He's got the geeks to go big. Bring him the game
right now.
And his royal we.
More sports non-stop. His quantum fiber's on top. Yay to you.
Switch today at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
Mariners and Padres tonight in San Diego. First pitch at 6:40. Pregame at 5:30. Hear every pitch live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Hello, Seattle. Bank of America, in partnership with Visa, invites you to a FIFA World Cup 26 watch party. Open an eligible Bank of America checking account in participating financial centers only for an opportunity to reserve 2 complimentary tickets while supplies last. Experience special musical guests, games, giveaways, food, and more, all at a legendary venue. Learn more at BofA.com/BofA Visa Watch Party. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 26. Bank of America N.A. member FDIC. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
It's a brave face we put on. We never want to be any trouble. But you know, getting older isn't all smiles and birthday parties. Sometimes it's facing the fact that we are aging. And you know what? That can be pretty hard. If you need a little support or just want to talk to someone, 988 is here for you. It's free and it's confidential. Call 988 anywhere, anytime. A message from the Washington State Department of Health.
Are you stuck staring at your W-2? Are tax refund worries holding you back? You probably have FOMO, the fear of messing up. The fix? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. It's time to overcome your fear of messing up and get your taxes done right. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bump and Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Coming up in 15 minutes, what's a good and bad draft look like for the Seahawks? And coming up in an hour and 15, all Mariners from 1 to 2 for the dugout. Shannon, Drayer joining us at 1 to get us started. Right now, let's head to the station for Hype Train. Logan Gilbert went through 7 in his last start. George Kirby went through 7 2/3 in his last start. How cool would it have been if Dan let him in and he ended up getting out Yordan Alvarez? Very cool. Still pretty cool regardless. Brian Wu gets to start tonight and will go through 7.
Ooh, okay. Last time he went through 7 was against the Angels. Went through 7. 6 against Cleveland. 5 against Texas. My man's he's playing some good ball right now. 1.5 ERA, 17 Ks. Keep the good times rolling. Whoa, he's going through 7. I'm on that train. He's gonna be dominant, gonna be calm, and the hair is gonna be flowing.
Are we gonna have back-to-back days of these quality starts? Wu goes through 7.
Wu goes through 7. Wu goes choo-choo, because we're boarding this train.
But I can't say the storm jokes.
Correct.
Wu goes through. Wu goes choo-choo. That's so bad. No, you don't.
I support you 100%.
You support me.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. That's
you don't mean that. But yeah, he's going through 7 tonight. He's gonna make quick work of these San Diego Padres. They're the Padres, but he's gonna be their daddy tonight.
Oh.
That's right. We're gonna keep it going, Stacey.
Padres.
Brian Wu. Brian Wu, more like choo-choo is what you should have said. Because I'm boarding this train too.
You're just taking what I said.
No, you said Brian goes through, more like Brian choo-choo.
So Wu goes choo-choo.
Yeah,
that's
Brian
what I said.
Brian goes through, more like
literally
Wu goes
said
choo-choo.
Word for word what I said.
Matt's already.
Gotta get to the next train.
Okay. The Seahawks should stay put at 32 and take Jadarian Price if he's there.
Yes, easy on that train. Let's go. Price I mean, remember, there's always a player that just, his profile just grows tremendously right before the draft. And Price is this year's player for that situation, man. The closer we get to this draft, the more people are buying into Price, the more people are watching film on him. If he is there, take that young man, stay at 32. Price is special. I think he could be, with him and Zach Charbonnet, healthy Zach Charbonnet, I think you have another 1-2 punch that needs to be reckoned with.
The Seahawks should stay put at 32. Will you go choo-choo on this one, Curtis? No laughs. He's like kept saying the choo-choo, right? Has everyone got the joke?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, we got it.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Uh-huh.
Are you bored?
So the Seahawks the last couple of years have done a really good job at just trying to not overthink things in the draft. Byron Murphy, a defensive tackle, was their biggest need in 2024. They take him at, pick 16 or something like that. And sure enough, Byron Murphy has developed into a really solid player for the Seahawks. Last year, Gray Zabel didn't outthink the room on that one, took him at 18, and sure enough, he was a force on the offensive line. This year, your biggest need is running back. Everybody knows it. And Jadarian Price will likely be available at 32 for you unless some team gets even more daring than the Seahawks at 32. So, yeah, I think you don't outthink the room. I think it's Jadarian Price at 32 if they stay there. So we're boarding that train.
Yeah. Boarding this one as well. All aboard. I think that I've been sold on. I was initially really loving the idea of going corner. Thought it was great to continue to add to a great defense. But I don't know, man. You have so many people pounding the table for this, and I just am becoming more convinced over time, in addition to it being, to me, the single biggest question mark with this team. Yeah, I'm sold. Next up, Mariners have 3 against San Diego before they head back home to Seattle. The Mariners win their 2nd straight series.
Padres are playing some good ball right now. But I think that this sweep of the Astros have made these guys tap into a confidence that we haven't seen all year. I think obviously Naylor hitting 2 bombs, gets them going. Julio doing his thing. Luke continue to do him. No, I think we're turning the corner, right? The signal is on. We're turning the corner. We're going to get it done. I'm on this train.
The Mariners win their 2nd straight series. Curtis, Bump is boarding, are you?
So the Padres are winners of 8 of their last 9. So they're playing some really good ball. 4 of those came against the Rockies. 2 came against the Pirates. So 6 of those 8 wins against teams that aren't necessarily the most stacked in baseball right now. Although the Pirates actually off to a good start this year, 10-6. But I think the Mariners do win their 2nd straight series, and it starts tonight with a W. So we're boarding this train. And they're off to a great start in defending that Vetter Cup.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a real thing now. There's a real guitar that these teams are playing for.
Yeah, stakes are very real. I'm boarding this one as well. Who could
Good
not?
for the Seattle Mariners.
Good for the Seattle Mariners. Who would not board this train? Next up. Speaking of the team just swept by Seattle, the Astros will finish with 100-plus losses. This stems from something that Jeff Passan said during Brock and Salk, where he said, look, I was talking to someone who may or may not have an interest in the Astros losing, who said that pitching is so bad they will lose 100 games.
Goodness gracious.
The Astros will have 100-plus losses.
I'm going to board just because I'm an Astros hater.
Okay, so for vibes alone.
Goodness gracious, 100 games? Yeah, if they keep playing or pitching like they have been, it's a possibility, but yeah, I'm just a hater, so I'll board.
That's fine. Curtis, the Astros will finish with 100-plus losses.
So I think the only thing that might keep them below 100 is their offense, which Altuve and Alvarez are playing like Altuve and Alvarez normally do. Christian Walker's off to a decent start this season. That could be the only, but look, if they continue to lose and lose at this kind of clip, you're going to see guys probably get moved at the deadline.
That's a good point.
So I'm going to say this Astros team does lose 100 games in 2026. We're boarding that train. And also for the reasons the Bump said, I hate
Just
the
purely.
Astros. I want to see them lose every game.
I can't board it in good faith because I don't think it's going to happen. You do make a good point, though, in that they'd have to sell off their best pieces. I don't know. Jordan is just so good. He's so good.
Yeah,
And
I don't think
look,
he's getting moved. He's got a pretty big contract.
We're also
He's
talking
balling.
about a game in which, like, they put up some runs. I know they didn't Monday, obviously, with that 6-1 win for Seattle, but they were getting hits.
Yeah.
Actually, Jordan,
not Monday.
A bad contract. I think that's one that a lot of teams, I think, could take on. $26 million per year over the next 2 years. Yeah.
And imagine them moving him. We got a few Mariners roster moves. Quickly, I'm going to mention the snapshot, but mentioning it here, Rob Refsnyder's been added to the paternity list, and in a corresponding move, infielder Patrick Wisdom has been selected from Triple-A Tacoma. What's a bad draft look like for the Seahawks, and what about a good one? That's next.
Wyman and Bob.
I know Mariner fans love hearing this. Be patient.
Every afternoon at 2.
That's a dirty word.
Go ahead. Start sending the text and tell me how stupid I am.
You come into this season and go, oh, man, I can't wait. I think this is kind of a shock to the system for a lot of Mariner fans coming out of the gate.
I still am fully believe in this team. And, like you said, all of the experts that are out there, they thought this too. I don't think anybody's jumping ship yet.
Only on Seattle Sports and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
Hi, Andy Klein here. There's something special about a baseball game. The moments and the memories. At Klein Jewelers, that's exactly how we feel about our diamonds. They're a beautiful reminder of life's biggest moments. We're here to help you find the perfect diamond or beautiful piece of jewelry to celebrate your engagement, anniversary, birthday, promotion, or just because. Klein Jewelers by the Fountain in downtown Edmonds. Shine with Klein.
Meet the company electrifying the marine industry. ARC, a fully electric boat that feels like a luxury EV. Significantly less maintenance and service, ARC is built to be as easy to operate as it is to maintain. Featuring heated seats and seat backs, a large display, easy handling, and impressive kick. You have to see it and experience ARC for yourself. Book a demo. They'll pick you up on Lake Washington, Lake Union, or Lake Sammamish if you can't come to them in Kirkland. Go to arcboats.com/demo. ARC. You have to see it to believe it.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at People Come First. You've heard me talk about them. PCF Construction Group. People come first. And if you've been dreaming of a new deck, well, now is the time to call PCF before the good weather arrives and their schedule gets all filled up. With a new deck, patio cover, heater, and fireplace from PCF, you can enjoy your outdoor space year-round, no matter the weather. And for a limited time, get 50% off demolition costs. That's up to $5,000 when you book your project with PCF. Contact People Come First Construction Group for all the details. They designed and built our outdoor living space, and we loved it. Start planning and designing your dream deck now so you're ready to build this summer. Planning, permitting, construction, they take time. So don't wait another day. Get started today. Get project ideas, browse their amazing photos, and find all the offer details at pcfgroup.com. That's pcfgroup.com.
Making your outdoor space with People Come First.
For a limited time, upgrade your home's comfort and cut energy costs with Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Get 20% off energy-efficient windows and doors, plus $1,000 off whole home projects. New windows help keep your home warmer in the winter, cooler in the summer, and your energy bills lower year-round. Plus, enjoy 18 months, no payments, no interest, only through April 15th. Hurry, schedule your free estimate before April 15th. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com. Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust.
Hi, Chuck here at Frank Lumber the Door Store. One of our most popular services is our match-up service, where we use your old door as a template to create a new door in your existing frame. Whether you need an interior or exterior door, this is a great way to change out your doors DIY style. And as long as we have what you need in stock, we currently have available space without a long wait for our same-day match-up service. Please visit us in Shoreline, where there's plenty of good parking. Also, check us out online at franklumber.com.
Daryl's knee problems started years ago.
The initial injury happened back in my high school days. It was more of a nerve damage that was done in the knee.
And eventually, it led to surgery.
They had the knee replacement done on the right knee. The orthopedic surgeon I worked with obviously was ready to do the work on the left knee, and I just didn't feel good about it.
Instead of another replacement, he chose stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. How's your your pain now?
On a bad day, 1 or 2.
So you went from an 8 to a 1 or a 2.
It's been great. I can't say the same for the other knee. We're still having challenges.
And when people ask you about surgery?
What I always tell them is that you should first talk to Dr. Wagner. You should look at stem cell as an option before you do the surgery. Because once you do the surgery, the stem cell isn't going to help you. And if he says he can help you, believe him.
Before you choose surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first, the most experienced in the Northwest with over 20,000 stem cell procedures. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
When the dollar's convertibility into gold ended in 1971, gold was fixed at $35 an ounce. Fast forward to today, and the U.S. dollar has lost over 85% of its purchasing power. Meanwhile, gold has increased in value by over 12,000%. Central banks are buying gold at record levels. Major firms are holding significant positions in gold. And I choose to buy gold from Birch Gold Group. It's Dan Bongino, and it all starts with education. Birch Gold just announced their Learn and Earn Precious Metals event. This free online event rewards you for learning the basics of investing in precious metals. Sign up to get free silver on your next purchase if you qualify. And you can get even larger incentives as you go. The more you learn, the more you can earn. But act now. This special event only runs through April 30th. So text my name, Dan, to the number 989898 to join Birch Gold's Learn and Earn Precious Metals event by April 30th. Text Dan to 989898 today. Message and data rates may apply.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
A few Mariners roster moves. Rob Refsnyder has been added to the paternity list, and a corresponding move, infielder Patrick Wisdom has been selected from AAA Tacoma. Brian Wu and the Mariners start a 3-game series against the Padres tonight. Pregame at 5:30, first pitch at 6:40 p.m. right here on Seattle Sports.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. What does a bad draft really look like for the Seattle Seahawks? And for that matter, what would a good one look like? Right now, they're staring at 4 picks, the first being at number 32 overall. What's the move, and what will success feel like on day 3 when we don't know what these guys are going to become?
All right.
We just know the names that are taken. So, Bump, for you, what would like a bad draft look like?
A bad draft. Drafting a receiver first. We don't need receivers, right? Receivers are good. They're not going to do that. That would just be the worst move that you can do. You got Rashid, you got Cooper Kupp, you got Horton, Bobo's back. If you're drafting a receiver early, if you're the Seahawks, one of your first few picks, I think that's the wrong way to go. Doesn't mean that they won't get one. But there are positions that we look at that we feel like need a little bit of depth, right? I've said this before. This isn't a draft where you find a starter, I don't think, unless you're drafting 32 and you get Price. That's going to be a starter. This is a draft where you're just looking to add some depth. So I think that if you do not, if you walk away from this draft without a running back, I think it's a bad draft. Even if it is a guy later that no one really knows, that doesn't have the shine that a Love or a Price have, I still feel like, and I think they still feel like, you need to address that first. So first step, don't draft a receiver early. I don't think they're going to. And also, you need to draft a running back.
It sounds like there are a lot of possible answers to what a good draft looks like for Seattle. Does that mean it's kind of hard to come away with a disappointing draft?
I think because this team is so good, because they're so set when it comes to the foundational pieces, it is hard to walk away from this draft. And for me, at least, I think it's going to be hard for me to walk away from the draft and be like, oh, they blew it.
Right.
What were they thinking? Because the only spot we're really looking at that we think needs help is a running back spot. I think the corner room or cornerback room can use some depth. But a bad draft to me, the only way I can see this being a bad draft, if they're do something crazy like draft a quarterback early or draft a wide receiver early.
Yeah, which they're not.
Which I don't think they're going to do that. And this draft is deep when it comes to wideouts, though. So if maybe they don't get Price at 32, they move back, get a couple more picks. I can see them drafting a receiver late, but that should not. And I don't think it will be their priority.
I would say normally that drafting strictly for need instead of best player makes for a bad draft. And that's me clearly not having draft experience, but going off of what John Schneider said, where draft picks that he regrets are ones that were made purely for need, where there was a pretty notable drop-off afterwards, and so they acted out of fear instead of a conviction that the player they were choosing was the best player available. I look at Price at 32, and I'm wondering, okay, do I want Price because I truly love him as a prospect and love him with Seattle, or do I want Price because my biggest question mark for the team is running back? And is that a bad reason to take him?
Yeah.
So my gut would be like, oh, bad draft is when you make decisions for the wrong reasons. But is it for the wrong reason at 32 if you need a running back? I don't know.
I think this one's different. I think when you do have the 32nd pick, you've won a Super Bowl, I think you can draft for need at this point because what you need is a starting running back and fillers everywhere else. Guys that you hope that down the line, maybe it's mid-season, end of the season, the following season, can develop and become a starter. But you're not looking at anyone to save the day with this draft. Always look at the 2021 draft when they have 3 picks, Eskridge, Brown, Forsythe. None of these guys are here. Eskridge couldn't get healthy. Brown was banged up a lot too, I believe. I think it was his knee or something like that. And then Forsythe just struggled on the offensive line. That hurt more because in 2021 you felt like they needed contributors right now. You needed someone to come in. I was begging for Eskridge to come in and be a number 2, number 3 receiver, right? Because you felt like you needed some explosiveness. With this team, you don't need anything but a running back. You need depth. You don't need anyone to come in and start right now. You're not looking for Nick Moore. You're not looking for a 5th-round pick and Reek Woolen to exceed expectations and become a starter. With this one, you need guys to come in and compete and keep that culture going and push each other. So it's hard for me to see them having a bad draft because of the lack of picks, one, and it's because of how talented this team already is. Maybe you look at the offensive line, and if that's not addressed, I know people have been hollering at the right guard spot forever now. I know that Anthony Bradford, thank you, blank, did get better this season, but he could use, or that position group can use someone to push him. You know, they brought back everybody, though. Everybody named Mama in that room is back, so they like what's going on there. If they were making a whole bunch of moves and cutting a whole bunch of guys, then I think that there would be a bit more urgency with this draft. But they're bringing guys back. The guys who left for more money. As simple as that. They didn't leave because they weren't happy here, or they didn't get cut by this organization. In a perfect world, I bet you they would have kept all those dudes if the money was right. So, yeah, this is going to be a weird viewing experience for me with this draft.
Why?
Because I'm not hoping for someone to come in and save the day. I'm looking at this team and saying, you got to come in and fall in line with what's already happening here with the philosophy and the culture or whatnot. You just try to enhance it. I don't need you to come in and play right now. Like when they drafted Nick Moore, I'm like, he needs to hit. Like we need this dude to play. When they drafted Grace Abel, I'm like, he's got to come in and start. You know, when they drafted JSN, I'm like, all right, you got to come in. Tyler Lockett's slowing down a little bit. You got to come in and help us out here. There's nobody in this draft other than Price where I'm saying, all right, we need you to do something.
We had that need versus best available conversation with Dane Brugler the other day.
Yeah, I think traditionally they've done a nice job of blending both, where they're not going to force the issue if the right player is not there, but at the same time, they're focused on, all right, what makes us better, not only in 2026 or the next season, but the next few seasons. And I think when you look at this year's class and, just looking where they're slated to pick currently right now, they're going to look at every opportunity to move around. But if they're stuck at those spots, and it's also one of the tough parts about picking so late in the round is you just don't know how those first 31 picks are going to come off the board. And what is your board? You know what your board looks like before the draft starts. But then when after 31 picks, is it a bloodbath and all your options are just kind of wiped out? What is that going to look like?
Joe in Bellevue says Seahawks drafting 4 or fewer players or sticking at 4 players would be a bad draft. That a bad draft is not coming away, adding players to that group of 4.
Well, what if they have 4 and you get Price? If you have 4 and you get Price, anything after that, I'm like, it's whatever. You do what the heck you want to do. You've addressed a position that needs to be addressed. I think there's a world where they have 4 or fewer, and we're fine. If you can get that young man at Notre Dame, I think everyone feels good about the situation.
Yeah, I like the way that Dane starts out by saying, like, look, we kind of romanticize that idea about, like, drafting for need versus best available. Like, no matter what, you need to, add someone who can potentially play for you, even if it's as a backup role. Like, the Seahawks aren't taking it, like you said, the Seahawks aren't taking a quarterback at 32. They're just not.
Yeah.
You don't need one right now. You have other needs. If a quarterback is their single best rated player at 32, I know John Schneider values that, but I don't know that he's pulling the trigger on that one.
And Ty Simpson could be sitting there at 32. Don't do it.
Well, no, but if Ty Simpson's sitting there at 32, then you have a million trade partners, and suddenly you're probably hoping that he's there at 32 so you can swap with someone. Oh, my God, what if they take Ty Simpson at 32? He's not going to 32. What I'm saying is that we tend to think if you're taking for a need, it's a bad thing, and it's when you're overdrafting for need, it's a bad thing. I asked you earlier whether Price would be a bad idea, and I like your answer about, like, Price just happens to satisfy both things. You need him, and also he's genuinely talented and probably would be one of the highest rated players there for Seattle. Like, sometimes you do have a perfect intersection where taking someone you need doesn't have to be a bad thing when he's talented and makes you better.
You needed a guard last year.
And you took a guard. And he made you better.
He played every single game this year. I don't think when they drafted Spoon, I didn't feel like they needed a corner. He was just the best player available other than Jalen Carter because of that whole situation. They've shown that they'll do both. When JSN was drafted, it was like a need, but not really at the same time because you still had DK, you had Lockett, but you were planning for the future. Like, what is this pick going to do? At 32, you're hoping that this guy is here for the long run. You're trying to get ahead of something. Actually, you're not getting ahead. That's just a straight need at running back. Other spots is you're trying to get ahead of things, right? So what's their next pick? 60-something?
Oh, God, I don't even know. I mean, look, I'm expecting them to trade back from 32, so I'm assuming they end up with something
64.
in the 40s. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 32, 64, 96, and, they gave 188 to Cleveland.
And that's a pretty massive gap, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll
I
be
can't
hanging out.
imagine they love that.
Mike Washington Jr., guy that you mentioned, has been mocked to the Seahawks at 64. Here's the thing, like you could not get a running back at 32, move back, and get a guy like Mike Washington. I'd be, all right, or Jonah Coleman. I'd be like, all right, you're drafting for need for sure because you got to fill that void. I'd be okay with that if Price isn't there.
Lance Zerline, who does all the draft write-ups for NFL.com, guess his player comp for Mike Washington is a former Seahawks running back.
Mike Washington. Don't say it. Give me a second. Mike Washington.
I think it'll intrigue
6'1",
Seahawks fans.
223, 8 touchdowns, 6.4 clip. 6'1", 223. Is it Chris Carson?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought Seahawks fans would be really intrigued by that because here we are talking about how they don't have enough answers in that room. Chris Carson was nearly undrafted. He was taken at the end of the 7th round and ended up giving you a 1,000-yard season. In his first full healthy season, his rookie season, he got hurt. What if there is that guy? I mean, if you ever want that diamond in the rough conversation, which can sometimes drive me crazy, but Chris Carson is that. And it didn't end up having a really long career. Injuries kind of added up, and unfortunately for him, ended his NFL career prematurely. But I thought that was a really intriguing comp. I loved watching Chris Carson.
I like it. I'm looking at Mike Washington run right now, and I see Chris Carson for sure. Same style, run a little higher, sink your pads when it comes to contact. The body, the build is similar. I can see that. I've liked what I've seen out of Mike Washington, but now hearing that comp makes me even look at him a bit differently. You know what I'm saying? But no, I like it. It's Price, it's Washington, it's Coleman. Like those are the 3 running backs that these guys should be going after. And now I've seen all 3 of those guys mocked to the Seahawks. I'm good with any of those 3. Obviously, we want Price, but if not Price and Washington, not Washington and Coleman, you're good.
Let's do some running back previews later this week. Maybe we'll have to do it tomorrow. Back to the draft for a second. I really like your point about it's kind of hard for them to have a disappointing draft.
Yeah,
they're in such a good spot as an organization. Literally, you're coming from the top of the mountain. Your only goal is to get back to and win a Super Bowl in the window you have right now.
Yeah,
that's it. If the draft can help you do that, great. But with the fact that John Schneider has had so many hits in the draft and the fact that they don't need rookies to save them, it's hard to get an F. It's going to be hard for them to fail.
It's impossible to get an F this draft.
It's
impossible.
Look, they can have a bad class, sure. walking away with 4 picks makes it likelier that you don't end up hitting on someone. But I like that point that you made about, like, they're in such a good spot and have depth almost everywhere that the only way you can lose for you, the only way you don't get a passing grade in this draft is that you don't add a single running back.
Look, we're not the peasants of the league, okay? We're not the Jets who have the 2nd pick, the 33rd pick, 103rd, 140, 179. Jets fans are watching this draft with their fingers crossed and saying, please do something. Vegas fans are watching this draft just desperate for one of these players to hit. It's a good place to be, to watch a draft and not be begging for 21-year-olds to save your franchise, to turn things around. It just shows that it really goes back to, 4 years ago when John Schneider started hitting and these guys started developing. It didn't happen overnight. You did win a Super Bowl last year. You did have some recent draft picks that kind of put you over the top. I mean, but it's going back to grabbing Leo, to grabbing Ernest a couple of years ago, J Love a couple of years ago. It's deeper than this last year's draft. So this is just the culmination. Being able to watch this draft, these guys have 4 picks, lets you know that there's been a run of about 4 drafts where they've just been hitting and finding these guys.
Sure feels, says the 360, like a trade back of 10 to 15 spots to add a 3rd round pick is the best way to go. If you draft for need, then trade back and then get him in a place you know you can get him. The only issue with that is the latest I've seen Price mocked would be like around the 40s to Minnesota. I saw one mock that had him there, and that's one of the later spots I've seen him. Could you trade back from 32 and still theoretically get him? Sure. What if you trade back and you don't?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then you have to find a trade partner. You're at 32. What if no one wants to trade up to 32 and you have to take someone? So finding a trade partner, underratedly difficult thing about trading back. And secondly, would be that you trade back and you miss out on your guy.
Yeah, it's a risk that's a lot of teams are going to take. And how valuable is that 32? If Price isn't there, I think the 32 is more valuable to other people, other teams. If he is there, it's your pick.
Joe in Bellevue says if no drafted player makes the team, then they failed. I can't see that happening.
Yeah, that's a good point though. If none of them make the team,
sure, then it's like
your
you didn't.
Evaluation was all bad.
No, they're gonna cut an undrafted.
Joe always
rookie.
looking for the negative side of it. This one actually works, Joe. I see
this one hit. Joe was right with this one, but I don't see a world where that happens. Even just out of spite as a GM. It'd be hard not to. You've been in this role. Like, there are probably guys that have been like, undrafted rookies, and you're like, this guy made it because he was a draft pick.
Yeah.
Remember the Amara Darboh scandal
of
people being like, man, how's Amara still here? Because he was a 3rd round pick.
Yep.
But no, I don't think that'll happen. Let's get to headline rewrites.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news.
Powered by Bay Alarm Security Services.
With Bump Stacy.
Headline number 1. WNBA draft was last night. The Storm got Awa Fam Thiam at number 3 overall and then traded for the draft rights to LSU star Flau'jae Johnson from Golden State. What's the real headline?
Oh, so Seattle teams got 2 wins yesterday.
Yeah, Awa's a baller. She's your modern big man. She can dribble, she can shoot, get in the post, good footwork. She has vision. She's athletic. I haven't watched a lot of Spain basketball until yesterday. So
until I was prepping for this.
Yep. So no, she looks good, man. I think that was a great pick. And then Flau'jae, I've been watching her for 4 years now at LSU. She's a creator, big personality. Flau'jae low key was one of like the first real modern athletes to get paid and put themselves out there like that. She's a pioneer, man. I know a lot of people focus on the men's game when it comes to that, but Flau'jae needs to be in this conversation too, man. She's a pioneer, good human being as well. I can't wait to see him ball out.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, Dan Wilson said Bryce Miller threw a bullpen in Arizona on Sunday, and it went really well. What's the real headline?
Oh, so you're saying Bryce Miller's alive. Well, that's good. We were wondering what was happening.
Relief.
As of yesterday, Curtis was going, where is Bryce Miller? Why haven't we heard anything about him?
I like to think that segment yesterday spurred the question that was asked to Dan Wilson in his pregame comments.
I like to think we inspire every question asked in every press conference. Yeah.
Inspiring change.
Be the change you want to see in the sports media press
We're putting
conference.
the system on trial.
Exactly.
Where's Bryce Miller?
Exactly. And we got an answer, which is he's fine.
He's good.
Okay,
He's
that's
good.
all we need.
It doesn't feel, though, Curtis, you said this earlier, it doesn't feel, Bump, like he's going to actually make it back by the end of the month. But in the meantime, Emerson Hancock, his pitching has looked pretty good.
Yeah. It's nice to be this deep, to lose a guy like Bryce and not be shook, not wait for that 5th day and be crossing your fingers and hoping that this guy's going to perform. So they're in a good place.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3, Golden State is keeping Steph Curry on a minutes restriction in a winner-take-all play-in game against the LA Clippers. What's the real headline?
You can't tell me tanking isn't a problem. I'm not saying they're all out tanking, but the Warriors do not actually care about winning at all costs right now.
Well, they know they're not going to win a championship.
Exactly.
They know they're not going to win a
So
championship.
they figured, let's punt on it. And
Well, they've taken this approach all year. I think maybe if they had some success early on in the season and were higher up when it comes to seeding, maybe the load management will be a bit different. But it's something they've been doing all year, and they're like, we're not going to change it now.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we have a chance of making it to the finals anyway.
Curry's been dealing with knee injuries this season, so health reasons are obviously what's keeping him limited. He played 26, 25, 27, and 29 minutes in his last 4 games. This one is capped at 40, so he hasn't even been close to that either way. But again, there's some incentive to losing this game. It's clear they don't think they can win it all and that they're looking at the future. That makes fans upset. End of the day. Like, it might be in the best interest of an organization to go, hey, let's just try to save what's left here and continue to look ahead. But for fans, anytime it feels like their team is punting, which is what this is a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, they punted as soon as Butler went down with his ACL. They're like, we really don't have a chance now. And they're getting old, man. It's crazy to see this version of Golden State, right? 10 years ago, they're the hottest thing on the court. They're young, they're bouncing around, they're fun. Now Clay is gone. Draymond's still grumpy. Steph getting old. It's weird to see this transition, right? 10 years ago, Oklahoma wasn't even a thought. Now they run the league, and the Spurs as well.
I was going to say, what dynasties do you think young people will be talking about when they're a little bit older? Because there are plenty of people now, let's say in their early 20s especially, where it's like you probably grew up thinking Golden State was the coolest thing on the planet.
Oh, yeah.
Because they just dominated your child and teenagehood. So who are those teams now?
It's Oklahoma and the Spurs at this point. I think they're making a move. Boston is still in the mix too. They look good. My Lakers are suspects. We're just old. Got to get rid of LeBron. Luka take the game over Rizzs.
Are you gonna is LeBron just done after this year? Have we all been assuming that?
He's talking about trying to play one more, so we'll see.
Should he?
I think he should play as long as he wants to.
I mean, he's still effective.
You're 41 years old. You're still dropping triple doubles in the NBA.
Yeah.
It's not like he's out there. He's a liability.
Yeah.
And LeBron's still playing some good ball. He has to be okay with not being the man, though. And I think him playing with Luka this year has kind of prepped him for that, because this is Luka's team. Bron is like the third option on that team.
A follow-up question for both of you, and something that I'm sure we'll talk about endlessly once the Sonics to Seattle are confirmed. How does the NBA make their regular season more watchable then? Is tanking a huge part of it?
They're trying with the in-season tournament. When you have seasons,
Lakers, by the way, congrats on that. I keep mentioning
2 years ago.
2 years. I know, but I'm just saying.
We
were
the first.
Yeah.
We were the first
The
ones.
inaugural in season.
Do you count that with all the other rings?
I
Good
do
question. Now
I do
you're
not.
tied with the Celtics.
I do not. Oh, what was I saying though?
How do you make the regular season more watchable?
When you have seasons that are this long, hockey, basketball, and then obviously baseball is like 2 times their season. It's just hard to keep people engaged for the whole season. I don't watch the Lakers the first 10 games and put anything on it, because I know eventually they're going to warm up, guys are going to learn their roles, and they'll be good to go. I don't know how you do it. Yeah, what they need to do is make the All-Star game more competitive. Thank you, Wemby, for going out there and playing hard and forcing these guys to step their game up.
Curtis, is that a better solution for Adam Silver in the NBA, is to just accept that the season's so long that people are going to check out for moments of it and try to find better ways to incorporate its stars?
Yeah, I think also the 82 games is pretty ridiculous when you have a really good idea of which teams are good and which ones aren't by about game 60, 65. Not saying they need to shrink it that long, but I mean 72 to 75 games might make it a little more palatable. It does increase the importance of each game just slightly, but these guys just do not want to play 82 games, which is wild because we grew up in an era where that was the expectation. Is if you were taking a night off, you better be hurt, and it's not for a rest night.
Yeah. Is the product in the finals better? Like, when you hear
I
that
don't
about
have
college...
any issue with the NBA finals or really any of the NBA playoffs. I think it's very hotly contested.
But you know how you hear that about like college football and college sports now is people go, college football's broken, and then they're like, but the product itself, like these athletes are insane.
It's just impossible to keep everyone locked in, especially for that long. It's just, who watches all their team's basketball games? I watch maybe 90% of the Mariners. If they play on a Saturday and I'm out, sometimes I just won't watch, and then I'll tap in. But it's just hard to keep people locked in like that.
Speaking of the Mariners, don't forget to download the Seattle Sports app. Every single game, one app, completely free. Take the game with you on the go when you're out running errands, at Little League practice, on a hike, on the boat, wherever. The Seattle Sports app travels with you. You can enjoy every pitch of Rick Rizz's final season all in one place at no cost. Did we mention it's free? It's the easiest way to enjoy Seattle Mariners baseball. You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. A look around the NFL next.
You can stream every pitch of every inning of every game all season long. Oh, and it's completely free.
It's a tremendous catch.
Only on the Seattle Sports app. That's right. The free Seattle Sports app puts every single Mariners game right in the palm of your hand.
On a platter, come and get it.
One app, every game. Plus the latest Mariners news, insider access, video, and podcast.
Holy smokes, what a play!
Pretty awesome, right? Just like the Mariners.
Jake was suffering from osteoarthritis when his doctors asked him to consider surgery.
However, there's a 9-month recovery period where essentially you're not walking and you're not putting much in the way of weight on.
That wasn't going to work for him, so he decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
I heard the ads, and that caused me to do due diligence.
And how are you doing now?
There's not really any pain now at all. I have no limitations in what I want to do.
Wow, so you're able to do anything you want to do?
I recently played golf at Cycle House down in Pebble Beach, walked 18 holes, which I hadn't been able to do for a number of years, and then went for about a 2-mile walk with my friend.
I take it you'd recommend stem cell therapy to others then?
Absolutely. Had I known then what I know now, I would have done this several years ago and saved myself a lot of pain and suffering and agony and limitation to activity.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Well, spring is all about getting ready for summer, isn't it? But do you have a room just sitting empty and you've dreamt of making it your own home gym? Hey, Brock Heward here, and working out in your own home, well, it is the best. We've been doing so for years, and you can allow Top Fitness to create your own home gym. Simply give them your room dimensions, and they'll do the rest. A complete fitness room design. It's no secret why everyone, from personal trainers to pro athletes, love Top Fitness. Top Fitness represents the very best brands in fitness, like Precor, Inspire Fitness, along with many others. They also have everything from flooring to weights that go in a home gym. And right now, get spring special financing with 0% interest for 12 months, plus mention me and receive an $150 credit towards any purchase over $1,000. Spring is here to get you in the best shape, so go get into Top Fitness with locations in Tukwila, Linwood, and Bellevue, or simply visit topfitness.com for more info. That's Top Fitness, your best place for home fitness equipment.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here for my friends at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. And if you're looking for a spot to catch all the spring baseball and sports, I got a place for you. Hawks Peak Sports Bar and Grill. It's your home for game days with more than 60 TVs, so you won't miss a play. They got great food and drinks, and nothing beats the views. So get in on all the action at Hawks Peak. Head to snocasino.com for all the details. That's snocasino.com. It is Seattle's closest Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Please game responsibly.
Let Olympic help you create the ultimate home contrast therapy studio. Pair relaxing Tilo sauna with our revitalizing Vigor cold plunge. Save up to $5,000 when you buy both. These massive savings end April 30th.
Lee Johnson Auto Family.
The best path at that point was to stop for the night, and you go home and take a breath. She came back in the morning and bought the car. She was way happier.
The LJ Way.
Rick Rizzs here for the Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington's Improve Your Play program. Many of our local youth sports teams need help with field enhancements, training, and equipment. Local Pella owners Keith Dashafy and Luke Wilson are stepping up to donate $5,000 to 2 deserving teams. We need your help finding them. Head to seattlesports.com/play to nominate a deserving team in need. Let's help our local youth improve their play this year with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Contest and rules at seattlesports.com/play.
Mariners and Padres tonight in San Diego. First pitch at 6:40. Pregame at 5:30. Hear every pitch live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Imagine all that could happen in 5 years. Jobs may change, kids will grow, new memes will come out, but also, what if you had reliable, intelligent Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years? Well, thanks to the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee, you actually don't have to worry about that part of your future. You're guaranteed 5 years of Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to your devices that need them the most, that finds and fixes any issues before you even notice them. It's like a super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected from threats online, all with our best equipment with no annual contracts, no fees, and no strings. So even though the kids will grow up and you still won't understand 6-7, your internet will stay sharp, reliable, and most importantly, the price will stay put. 5 years. Same internet price. Lock in reliable, fiber-powered gig Wi-Fi for effortless streaming. Plus, get the Disney Plus, Hulu bundle, and Peacock Premium included on us. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Peacock Premium included for 3 years. Programming subject to change and availability. Actual speeds vary. Xfinity Internet is powered by fiber and connected to the premises by coaxial cable.
On top of home and auto, Progressive protects your boat, RV, and motorcycle so you can explore the unknown.
Actually, we just take the RV to the same campground every year.
Well, maybe you can catch your own dinner on your boat.
Oh, we can actually get pizza delivered there from this brick oven place we love.
Will you at least try a new topping?
Honestly, probably not. We kind of have a go-to order.
Fine. Just bundle home or auto insurance with your outdoor vehicles with Progressive and stay protected when you go, I guess, where you've gone before. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
Drew Brees here. Whether you're on the field or on the road, having the right team on your side makes all the difference. I learned that the hard way. On the field, you don't go anywhere without a solid O-line. And when your car breaks down, you want that same kind of protection. That's why I trust CarShield. Their protection plans help you tackle expensive repairs so that you're not blindsided.
Visit carshield.com now and join the team that's helped millions of drivers save. Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at carshield.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Taking a look around the NFL, we are going to start with the Eagles. GM Howie Roseman held his pre-draft press conference today and was asked about the recent reports from ESPN of frustration with Jalen Hurts growing in Philly's building.
I have seen those reports. Bob and our PR staff do a great job of showing us what we need to see. I would say that we have some faults. One of them is not being direct and honest with our players and the conversations with our players. So for us, if we have any issue with any of our players, we talk to them directly. From my perspective, from Nick's perspective, from Jeffrey's perspective, we're not hiding behind anything. We will talk to our players directly. And, I think that it's unfair. It's unfair to have these articles written, but I understand it's also what sells at this point. So, I think it's unfortunate.
Unfortunate, unfair. It's what sells, but what's he going to say? He's not going to be like, no, Jeremy Fowler, that reporting is right. There's some pushback against Jalen in this building. You're not going to say that.
No, you can't. You have to have Jalen's back. And it's like family business. When I was a kid, my mom used to be like, man, whatever happens within our family stays within our family.
Yeah.
Like, don't be airing out our stuff.
Dirty laundry.
Yeah, that's what's happening here. He's saying the right things.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately for him, I don't think there's like a personal incentive in Jeremy Fowler. I forgot the other name attached to this report. I don't think that there's like a reporter with ESPN who hates the Eagles, and so they're putting this story out. This is coming from the building. This is coming from people in the building. So if I'm Howie Roseman, and for that matter, if I'm Sirianni, I'm going, okay, people are talking. I don't know if it's AJ. I don't know if it's other guys. There were lots of unnamed players, including former players, but the call's coming from inside the house, and the report made that very clear. Next up, Miami star pass rusher and top draft prospect, I'm talking like top 10 prospect, Ruben Bain, was the driver in a March 2024 car crash that killed a passenger. This is according to a report published over the weekend. So this was not a report, even though the crash itself was over a year ago now. This is not something that had been reported about. So now this maybe top 10 draft pick is in danger of falling, and we have the details from it that are shading people's perspective. The car had 3 passengers. 2 of them were his teammates at Miami, and then there was a 22-year-old woman named Destiny Betts, and she died from injuries sustained in the crash 3 months later, which is obviously tragic. Baines was cited for careless driving. I saw the police report a screenshot of it, and they said wasn't suspected to be inebriated, also wasn't given a test. So it looks like it was just
pick them up at all. But, some organizations don't care. But look, they'll forgive you. And I'm not saying he shouldn't be forgiven. Who really knows the details around this? But it's all about culture and philosophy. Some organizations just don't care. Some will walk the other way. Either way, he's going to be in the league.
Well, and again, this happened over a year ago. Teams have, I would assume, known about this. I would assume Miami knew about this. So this is just something that wasn't reported. You know what? It sounds like her family would prefer that it not continue to be reported. So
they're trying to get over it.
Exactly. So I don't blame them for that. And obviously we're mentioning it and shows and anyone's mentioning it because no one knew about it before. And the draft is around the corner. So this is going to be talked about then. But I agree with you. I think that even if he does slip, there will be a team somewhere that feels comfortable in the research they've now had a year to do into his character and whatever they do. Right now, I think CBS was saying the Lions, who are mid-round, are probably the furthest that he'll get. I don't want to say they're at 17, around there, which is shocking. Again, it's supposed to be a top 10 pick, so we'll see what happens there. What's the plan in Pittsburgh if Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back? Adam Schefter says it's not looking great for the Steelers if they do need to pivot.
I think they're waiting on him. What's interesting is, again, I think the pivot plan would have been Kirk Cousins, but Kirk Cousins signed with the Las Vegas Raiders, so he's not a pivot plan anymore. So if Aaron Rodgers decided he didn't want to play anymore, I think the Steelers would go with Will Howard, who they like, who they believe in, Mason Rudolph, and I think you draft a guy here.
Yeah, that's a team whose fortunes suddenly changed very much without Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's going, right? Like going to the Steelers, I should say. He's not going, is how I should have phrased that.
He's not going
I don't
anywhere.
think he's retiring.
No, I don't think he is either.
I'm not going to get bamboozled by this again.
No, I do think that if Ty Simpson is available at 21, go ahead and grab him. Because we've got a little taste of Will Howard. If they felt strongly about Will Howard, they wouldn't be waiting on Aaron Rodgers at this point. So, yeah, if I'm Pittsburgh, Ty's sitting there at 21, go ahead and snatch him.
We keep having this will they or won't they trade Myles Garrett conversation when it comes to the Browns. Here's the latest from Adam Schefter.
I spoke to a couple of different people there. They couldn't have been more adamant that it was just a cap maneuver to work out the contract. Now, what I do think is that it does give Myles Garrett options, and them options in future years becomes easier to trade down the line. Maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, both sides decide, okay, time is right, let's move on from him. he wants to be gone, whatever it may be, whoever wants out. But he's not getting traded this year.
Bump, I'll tell you two conversations that, regardless of what Schefter said there, will not die this offseason and will continue to live on. Number one, will Myles Garrett be traded? Number two, will A.J. Brown be traded? I'm sure that Schefter is sick of talking about it and GMs are sick of answering questions about it. I just know we've seen this before. Those are two storylines that have legs. They will not die.
Well, when you are a star in the league and you've made it clear that you are unhappy, talking about A.J. Brown on the sidelines through social media, we're going to talk about this. When you are Myles Garrett and you don't show up for voluntary practices, which I think is fine, but you're going to talk about you brought attention to yourself in that situation. Yeah, if they were just some Joe Schmo, some regular guys, then we wouldn't be talking about this. But, yeah, we will continue. Until they line up and they got their uniforms on, we will talk about this.
How's Bo Nix doing after breaking his ankle in January? CBS Jim Nantz said he spotted the Broncos quarterback walking around Augusta.
We were talking, Pat, about you saw some pictures of some of the people I was with this week. There are a lot of NFL guys that are hanging around Augusta.
Yeah,
I don't know how they're all getting in, but, just again, I ran into Drake May. I ran into Bo Nix, who looked very healthy here.
Bo Nix is walking that place?
What's that?
Bo Nix is walking around Augusta?
He was walking around, and it was fascinating. Bo and Drake put the whole Augusta experience in together. And you said it earlier, the undulation, the grade at Augusta, it is up and down more than anybody could ever imagine. So Bo and Drake spent a couple of days together hanging out.
I don't know what to expect of the Broncos this season. And I don't say that disrespectfully. They've earned that number one seed thanks to a tiebreaker over the Patriots. Patriots advanced, but still, it's I don't know where to place them in terms of who's going to be at the tippy top in the AFC this season. Mostly because the teams that we typically expected to be there suffered injuries that kept them out.
It's hard for me to see a world where the Broncos and the Patriots have the same years they had last year.
That's a much better way to say what I was trying to say. It's so much better.
It's tough because of the things you mentioned. I mean, Pat's going to be back. Lamar's going to be back. Josh is going to be there. This was the year for Josh to kind of make a run at it.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, the two youngsters made the run. It's just so tough over there in that conference. And so many things have to go right for both of those quarterbacks. I don't see it happening again, but if they do, good for them.
Get your questions in for What I Need to Know. We're going all Mariners from 1 to 2 for the dugout, so What I Need to Know is coming your way. 866-979-3776. Send in those questions now.
Trident's up and brooms up.
They get the mop, they get the sweep. Swung on. Laser. Has he done it again? Josh Naylor. Lightning strikes twice.
After the Mariners sweep the division rival Astros, it's back on the road for a brief three-gamer in San Diego. Mariners, Padres, first pitch at 6:40, 5:30 pregame. Tonight, get every pitch of every game all with one app, the Seattle Sports app.
When I go to a dealership, I don't want to be pushed into buying something. Sometimes I want to look around, test drive, and check out new features. When I went to Wayscar Ford in Auburn, they got that. There was no pressure. It actually turned out to be a fun experience because they were genuinely excited to show me the cool features and newer models. In fact, they only want to sell you a car if you want to buy one. The thing I want most is to be able to trust the person I'm working with. A new car is a huge investment. I have to be honest, I don't know a ton about cars. I do know it's the second largest thing next to a house that most people will ever buy. So yes, I want to make sure I'm buying from a reputable place. I want a warranty. I want to make sure I'm covered if for any reason I change my mind. Wayscar Ford has that. A 5-day or 500-mile, no questions asked, 100% money-back guarantee. There's a reason they've been in Auburn for 104 years. Go see them. Wayscar Ford in Auburn. That's wayscarford.com.
Your reputation matters. That's why so many landscape professionals choose Gravely. You can save up to 20% on Gravely commercial mowers during the Gravely Mow the Distance sales event going on now through the 19th. Visit your local Gravely dealer today.
Hi, Chuck here at Frank Lumber the Door Store. One of our most popular services is our match-up service, where we use your old door as a template to create a new door in your existing frame. Whether you need an interior or exterior door, this is a great way to change out your doors DIY style. And as long as we have what you need in stock, we currently have available space without a long wait for our same-day match-up service. Please visit us in Shoreline, where there's plenty of good parking. Also, check us out online at franklumber.com.
You can count on the Seattle Times for local news and information on your teams and your scores. Get inside the game and go beyond the stats with game summaries, player interviews, and play-by-play analysis every day. Read our coverage at seattletimes.com/sports.
If you don't care about saving 50% off your wireless bill for the same 5G coverage the big guys are charging a fortune for, maybe you care about keeping jobs in America. Pure Talk does. They've pledged to run their entire operation from this country, including all their customer service. Or maybe you care about our nation's veterans. Pure Talk does. They've donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to America's Warrior Partnership, a fantastic organization working hard to prevent veteran suicide. Or maybe you care about closing America's skills gap. Pure Talk does. They're a proud supporter of MicroWorks. They're helping my foundation train the next generation of skilled workers. Don't get me wrong. Saving money's great, and you'll save plenty with Pure Talk. But if you want to be in business with people who share your values, dial pound 250. Say micro, and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Have a troublesome tree in need of removal? P&D Tree Service is up to the task. Local experts in tree removal for residential and commercial. If it's 1 tree or 15 trees, close quarters or land clearing, call P&D Tree. They'll get the job done safely and quickly, turning multi-day jobs into a few hours, saving you time and money. They'll clear trees away from homes to help you save on home insurance. They specialize in large tree removal. Ever see a tree removed by crane? PNDTreeService.com.
Mariners and Padres tonight in San Diego. First pitch at 6:40. Pregame at 5:30. Hear every pitch live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
If you're building decks in Washington this season, you need materials you can trust and a supplier who delivers. Par Lumber carries premium TimberTech and Trex composite decking, railing, and accessories contractors depend on across the Northwest. With reliable job site delivery, we keep your projects moving so you can keep building. Right now, get 20% off deck railing and lighting with any TimberTech or Trex deck board purchase for a limited time only at Par. Visit par.com/decking to learn more. Par, where the builders go.
Spring is a season homeowners start improving their homes. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. If your home needs roofing, siding, new windows, gutters, or decking, our team can take care of it all. For a limited time, save up to $3,000 on a new roof, siding, deck, or windows project. Planning multiple upgrades? Combine your projects and save even more. Or with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest up to 24 months. You can start your project now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
If you've gained 20, 30, or even 40 or more pounds over the past few years and nothing seems to work anymore, listen up. I'm Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss, and our completely medication-free program has helped thousands in Washington lose 20 to 30 pounds in just 60 days. No drugs, no weekly shots, no muscle loss, no side effects, no forever monthly costs, just food, but the right type, in the right amount at the right time. All part of a detailed plan with expert coaching every step of the way that helps you reset your metabolism and burn fat. Schedule your free phone consult at eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Yeah, Mike Salk here, and Dr. Coogan is right. I can attest to losing 35 pounds with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. It works. It's safer, less expensive than alternatives, with no injections or pills, and no scary side effects. Schedule a free consult and find out for yourself.
Over 4,000 people have lost 20 to 30 pounds or more in just 60 days. Come to our clinic in Kirkland or do our program from anywhere you live with our remote options. Schedule your free phone consult online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776. What I need to know right now, because we are going all Mariners from 1 to 2 for the dugout. Shannon Drayer is going to join us at the top to get us started here. So again, any questions, sports, non-sports, doesn't matter. I always love a non-sports question. 866-979-3776. What I need to know. Oh, gosh, I just lost my place. Sorry, great radio. Let's see. What I need to know. Should John Schneider be worried about electronic surveillance from the Raiders?
No.
I don't think so.
It'd be okay.
I think he'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think everything will be fine. What I need to know, is it just as it was too early to be worried about the M's, is it too early to be excited about this series?
About this Padres series? No, because...
No, sorry, about the
past series.
Yes.
No, because I think you needed to see it. We haven't seen that. They haven't won a series all year. So what if they went, what was that, the third or fourth one? I mean, you'd be a bit more concerned. So no, I don't think it's, I don't think you crown them, but you needed to see some progress. And that's what we saw.
One of the what I need to know questions is just where you got your hat.
Oh, actually, this was free. It was a giveaway.
That was a giveaway last year, right?
Uh-huh.
That's a giveaway hat?
Yeah.
It looks so
It's
nice for a
wool,
giveaway hat. Yeah,
they
wow.
did a thing with this one.
Yeah, I think when the giveaways are hats or apparel, those go quick.
You want some breaking news?
Don't you dare.
Not a Mariner trade or Seahawks news. Diana Rossini has resigned from the Athletic.
Dang.
That is breaking news.
Dang, she messed up her bag, man.
She did.
And what I say, and Vrabel's going to be just fine. He's going to go coach the Patriots.
So you weren't here yesterday when we were talking about it. I don't think that there's a double standard in the responsibility that both have ethically. Like, I think there's a different responsibility for her as a reporter that she violated. Both have failed their families morally.
Yeah.
If this is true, I feel like I keep having to say that. But also, like, the ways people talk about both of them will be very different.
Yeah.
I don't know. Look, I don't want to play this card, but as a woman in sports, every time anything like this happens, you just go like, oh, here we go. Yesterday, someone was like, women only have their jobs in sports when they sell their looks. And it's like, yeah, I really don't think that's true of most women in sports. But it's because most of those women aren't visible to you. You don't see producers and executives and women behind the scenes or reporters. Like, it's also just not true. It sucks, man. Not shocking, though.
That she resigned?
No.
No.
I don't know how. What happens to her now?
She starts a podcast.
Like, what's this pivot?
She podcast.
Yeah, you got to go independent
podcast.
after
You have
this.
to do it. You have to. What I need to know. I passed a guy and changed lanes into the lane he was in. I was more than 2 or 3 car lengths ahead of him, but he got mad at me and blasted me with his big brights after I changed lanes. Who's in the wrong here?
I mean, if you described it, if it's went down the way you described, I think you're good. 2 or 3 cars in front. You good. And how fast was he going, though? Maybe he felt like you cut him off. And sometimes you don't switch lanes because you see that person, they're flying. You're like, you know what, let them pass, and then I'll get over.
Yeah, like if you're in traffic and you're 2 or 3 lengths, man, in traffic, that's like the biggest gap you'll find.
Yeah.
If you're both going 70 and you cut in front of him, he's probably just annoyed that he suddenly has to watch his speed.
Yeah.
I don't think you're in the wrong. 2 or 3 car lengths is perfectly fine, but
you're good.
I see why people get defensive when you're like, there's no one else.
Mm-hmm.
You had to choose the stall right next to me? There's 10 stalls in here.
Please don't do that.
Please don't. What I need to know, I just had someone ask about, tipping culture. Are you for or against it?
Depends on when I'm tipping or when I'm being asked to tip.
When do you not tip?
When I go to the airport and I walk through you just grab and go, and I go pay for it, and they ask for a tip.
That's
I just
crazy.
grabbed my own stuff. Why am I tipping you?
Wild. What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I don't think
ridiculous.
I've stopped by them. Yeah, I think that I get really annoyed when it starts at like a 25. Like it starts at a crazy amount. And you're like, wait, 25 is the lowest? Or when it says, you know, where it says the word underneath and it'll be like
Good,
fine,
excellent,
25%.
yeah.
No, 25 is like excellent.
Yeah.
30% is like I'm tipping 30% on like the people I see regularly. You know, the girl that does my hair or whatever.
Yeah.
If I'm going to pick up the food, I'm not leaving a tip.
I don't tip.
Yeah.
And I know that's it depends. Like sometimes you might do, I do tip. I do a smaller tip though. I think standard is 20%. Baseline. I've never tipped less than that, like sitting down in a restaurant. But I have tipped more. But when people start to expect fully that there's more, that's when I'm like, what do you
If
do?
you're local mom and pop and I go there often, I tip them.
Sure, exactly.
Very good.
So yeah, I think that tip culture gets out of hand a little bit. To answer that question, it definitely gets out of hand a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Someone asked you about your expectations. I can't find the text, so I can't read it verbatim. But they asked about your expectations for Torrey Horton this year.
I expect him to be the 3. with potential to be the 2. Because Shaheed is like he's a gadget. You know, I don't see a game where Shaheed has 10 receptions for 150 yards and a touchdown. That's not his game. His game is throw that thing up top, hit you with a couple explosives.
Someone said, have we tried the Love is Blind wine? They think it's gross.
I know it existed.
No, but I don't want to try that. Anytime there's anything that's like specifically from a TV show, from whatever, like it's usually not going to be the best version.
$12 at your local beverage grocery store.
That wine, $12, man.
That's so some $2 check is what that is. It's called Love is Wine. Aha.
It's pretty clever though.
Someone said, did the person signal before they changed lanes?
Yeah.
I think so. I assumed so. Majority of people, by the way, on your side, they don't tip when they sit, or they only tip when they sit down to eat in a restaurant, or like a mom and pop shop. Yeah. But do you tip at a place that does drinks? And I know that sounds weird, but like smoothies, coffee, Starbucks, wherever.
I went to Jamba Juice with my kids the other day, and I was about to tip, and my son canceled it. I said, "No, Dad, don't tip." I go, "Well, they Jamba Juice, you put in some work.
They made that,
the smoothie and all that stuff."
Sure.
I go, "Man, that's jacked up."
I'm just saying.
But yeah, I will. At a Jamba Juice, I'll tip at a Jamba Juice.
Yeah. I didn't used to, because in my mind, I was like, well, if I'm getting Starbucks, why am I tipping? What? I didn't used to do that. That wasn't a thing that existed, but I'm trying to make myself. Yeah, well, now I'm open to it. It's not like a thing of like against tipping. I don't remember doing that for forever. So now I have to train myself that like, oh, you tip with drinks too. But look at me now. I'm growing. That's growth.
That's growth.
All right, we are going all Mariners from 1 to 2. Rick Rizzs is joining us at 1:30. Alex Mayer with some numbers you guys are going to love coming up at 1:45. We're going to go the latest from Jeff Passan, obviously talking about a great series win over the Astros and looking ahead for the Mariners. That's coming up at 1:15. Mariners insider Shannon Drayer joins us next.
Woo goes through 7. Woo goes choo-choo, because we're boarding this train.
Wyman and Bob, every afternoon at 2.
We had the John Schneider show yesterday. He's in rarefied air, I think, with the fan base. He could pretty much make any move he wants, and the fans are going to go, okay, yeah, I'm on board.
There's one. Draft at number 32, draft a kicker. there we go. I think that's the only thing he could do.
Well, all of a sudden, that guy's booting 66-yarders on the regular, and people are going, see?
Only on Seattle Sports and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
Meet the company electrifying the marine industry. ARC, a fully electric boat that feels like a luxury EV. Significantly less maintenance and service, ARC boats are easy to operate and maintain. Go to arcboats.com/demo. ARC, you have to see it to believe it.
What does baseball and Klein Jewelers have in common? Diamonds, of course. Hi, Andy Klein here. Sure, we love baseball, but we love diamonds even more. Why? Because our diamonds sparkle and last longer than 9 innings. Every diamond is hand-selected for maximum brilliance, quality, and value. Klein Jewelers by the Fountain in downtown Edmonds also has a big selection of engagement rings, wedding bands, diamond and gemstone fashion jewelry, and one-of-a-kind custom designs. Swing for the fences and shine with Klein.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Can you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. we can help.
Hey, Brock Ewart here with my buddy Dave Taylor from First Mark Insurance. You know, Dave, I love sport. You love sport. And I love sitting with coaches and hearing their game plan each and every week. What are the keys to a First Mark Insurance game plan?
It's a great question, Brock. I think there's really 3 keys to a great game plan with us. Number 1 is we want to make sure that our clients have the correct coverage for their unique specific needs. So that's number 1. Do you have the right coverage? Number 2, once we have the right coverage, are we getting that coverage at the most competitive price possible? And then last and not least would be, once we have the right coverage at the most competitive price, are we providing world-class service to those customers so that when they need it, they have someone there that's got their back?
Those are the 3 keys to a First Mark Challenge victory. And man, am I so glad Molly and I took the challenge. We are one of so many through a decade plus of being a First Mark Challenge victory. You can too. Just simply go to firstmarkinsurance.com, firstmarkinsurance.com.
I saw her texting coming up to a stop sign. And so I saw the accident coming and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Not sure how to tackle your taxes? Are you sweating the small print? You may be experiencing FOMO, the fear of messing up. The answer? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it, with a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. It's time to take your taxes to the max. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
A surprise move in yesterday's WNBA draft. Golden State selected LSU star Flau'jae Johnson, number 8 overall, and then traded her to the Seattle Storm for Marta Suarez and a 2028 second-round pick. The M swept the Astros in a 4-game series with a 6-1 win in that finale yesterday. Josh Naylor, who hasn't had a chance to heat up yet, turned it on with 2 home runs, accounting for 5 of Seattle's 6 runs. M's open a series against the Padres tonight at 6:40.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This is The Dugout, taking you inside your Seattle Mariners.
Swing and a miss, and he got him with a slider.
Presented by Top Fitness.
On the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Swinging a shot over the bag at first, fair ball. The Mariners win it. Here comes Leo Rivas to score. Cal Raleigh with a walk-off single.
Time to grab a seat and talk Mariners baseball in The Dugout.
You are listening to The Dugout, all Mariners from 1 to 2. We're joined now by Mariners insider Shannon Drayer. Shannon, how's it going?
It's going.
Last time we started by asking you, hey, how can Julio, Naylor, and Cal heat up? What are you seeing? You fixed them. I don't know what you did, but they look so much better in this series. What did you see from them?
I think if I remember correctly, you texted me and you perhaps fixed Cal. So I think
did.
You
I said,
got
what's up
it
with
going.
Cal?
Yeah, and I didn't answer, and the next thing you know, he hits a home run.
I did that.
Yes. In looking at it, I think a lot of it is early season, getting into the season. We've talked about that before. But I think it's pretty big that they were able to get that day off when they came home, because they'd hit that frustration point on the road in Texas. And what really struck me in listening to players and Dan in the clubhouse yesterday was how much of a difference. I mean, you talk about trying to flush the bad games right afterwards, but in reality, you don't have much time to do that. You might be looking at, 10, 12, 14, 16 hours, but to get that plus a full day off, I think it really gave a lot of players the opportunity to kind of get that out, to get away from it, and to really come back in a real true kind of reset mindset and letting go a lot of the things that had been happening. And also, and they've all said this to a man, just realizing that it's just a chunk of baseball here. It's bigger exposure because it's at the beginning of the year, and trying to give themselves the grace to understand that too, and not just say the words. So I think that there has been a lot of, with that group in particular, there have been some little changes that have been made here and there, but, with Cal and with Julio, although he did, one of the reasons why I put the bat on the shoulder was he said to try and relax a little bit, as he told Curtis after the game the other day, and that makes a lot of sense. The angle may have had something to do with that too, but they were realizing that they perhaps were gripping the bat a little too tight, because that's not where they expected to be. And I do think that day, Monday, helped out quite a bit, and they were staying patient with their approach and their belief in what they did, and that this was something that would pass.
I love watching, not unorthodox, but just like players with their own type of style play the game. I was listening, or a texter texted in and said, Luke Raley runs like he's helping the world turn, like just violently. I love that about Luke. How important is he to this team, and how's he been able to have so much success early?
Yeah, I love that. It's usually he's mad at the turf or whatever. He is such a fun player to watch. You don't see many in baseball attack the game the way that he does. And that's how he has to play. It's how he does play. It's how he got to that ball in the ninth inning yesterday. It's how he can hit a ball over a fence and beat out a bunch and get to first base and scare everybody who's in the way in the process. I think it's absolutely fantastic. That's who he is. And I've talked a little bit about it, but with Luke, I mean, they all care. They all care a lot. But if you had to have a care meter, he would be at the absolute top of it, almost sometimes to his detriment. For him, I think he is probably the one that it is toughest to put a bad game behind him. He wears it more when things aren't going right, or particularly if he does something like when he forgot to touch first base, or he missed first base. He didn't forget. He was going all out, as you said, and an attempt to cut an even better corner. He missed the bag altogether, really beating himself up after that. So there's just a different energy level with him, a different passion with him in it, and it is all for the team. He buys into that 100%, absolutely loves being part of a team, and it's one of the things that's fun to watch about him. But he did make some adjustments. He every player hits that mark where you get into that point in your late 20s where things are a little bit different for you. In the off season, he realized that he was probably training too hard with the weights and he needed more flexibility. So he got into the yoga, and now the first thing that he does before he does anything else, it is the stretching, it is the yoga, it's taking care of the body that way before he hits the weights. And I think that that's helping him feel better out on the field a little bit. And then he's also said that he really, and back to what I was just talking about, his passion for the game and really holding on to things, needs to have more fun out there. And he's trying to make that commitment and trying to be conscious of that. And he, of course, became a first-time dad last year, and that is helping things, too, a little bit with him. But it's just the player that he is. And it helps the team not only in the results that he puts up on the field, but he's one of those energy guys. And you don't usually think the energy guy is going to be one of the biggest guys on the field, but in this case it is. And the teammates feed off of that stuff, much like they do off of some of the things that Josh Naylor does. He does it a little bit differently. He's kind of, the tricks up the sleeve on the base paths and things like that. But there's also an intensity with him, and there's also an energy that comes with that. And those are things that can impact those around you in the course of a game.
Speaking of tricks up the sleeves on the base paths, I saw on a post-game quote that Naylor and Cal and Logan didn't necessarily completely plot out that pickoff, but it just worked out that way. Can you tell us a bit more about what they said about what went into that?
Yeah, it was. I think we were all assuming that the call came from the bench, and when the play happens, all you can do is evaluate what you see. And we did see Cal drop the glove, which would usually indicate that, okay, throw over there. It's not something you're going to see a ton. You're not going to expect the pickoff from Logan. I believe it was his first big league pickoff, when you could tell he was very excited about that, which I think is one of the highlights of the season, is actually seeing him smile during a start. But it turns out that it was Cal who did that on his own. As we asked Manny Acta if that came from the dugout and if it came from the pitch comm, and he said Cal gets all the credit on that was Cal's call. So Logan sees that, and I believe Cal also punched it into the pitch comm, and then when he dropped the glove, that was go time. What Logan didn't know, and he's blind on the move, was Naylor was, deking Altuve at first base and kind of playing with that and getting him out of his rhythm over there. But he wasn't doing that, to set him up, because he didn't have the pitch comm in, so he didn't know the ball was coming. So Logan turns around and fires blindly in that situation. And he saw where Altuve was and knew that he had him. And I don't know, he didn't mention it, but I do believe that Naylor was kind of really off the bag then. Still not nearly as far as Altuve was coming back to the bag and was ready for it, because he's a good first baseman. But, a bang-bang play like that had all sorts of different players at all sorts of different senses of awareness as to what was going on, but they executed it perfectly.
I love the way Naylor plays. You talk about him messing with Altuve at first base, and then when he's on base at second, he's throwing his hand up, he's pulling his jersey, acting as if he's giving signals or whatnot. Has there been a player that you've covered over the years that plays the game that way? Like, does the little weird things that Naylor does that I enjoy watching so much?
Not as much, but I think you could add Jose Caballero into the mix on that one. And, it's a matter of having great game awareness, knowing what you can do without distracting yourself. You don't want to get caught in the process of trying to, outmaneuver the other guy. You've got to also be taking care of what you need to be taking care of and what you're accountable for, too. And I would think that Cabby would be pretty similar to that. He, of course, did more at the plate and more with the timing of the pitchers, but particularly when he was on base, he would be somebody that would be, really playing with the leads and really trying to draw the infielders back a little bit toward the bag. And then when he was at shortstop, he would be, a lot of guys will do it. They'll pound the glove behind the runner to make the runner think that they are going back to the bag and things like that. He was always doing that kind of thing. So I think he's probably the most comparable to that. But Naylor does it just, almost times 10, with how animated he is. What he does when, you said he's pretending to signal. He's probably doing a little bit of signaling at that point too, as well. But it is another aspect of the game. It's something that can help you win a ball game. And if it's something you're capable of it, by all means go for it. But it's not as easy as just jumping around over behind first base or second base.
Speaking of pitching, I think I saw some people, saying, it was great to see the Mariners bats get going, but Houston's pitching was so bad. And I was thinking like, well, sure, it is. But if you're going to say that, then you got to give the Mariners arms credit for going against a really, really pesky Houston offense. That's what are they, near the top of the league in hits and extra base hits and just a nightmare. So I loved what we saw from Logan, from George. Can you tell us a bit, maybe especially Kirby, with what you saw in this series from Seattle's arms?
Yeah, I think that they are a lot of the same things that I just said about the hitters. The pitchers are doing the same thing. And it takes different pitchers different amounts of time to really lock in with things. We've talked about Logan and how long-limbed he is and the levers and everything else. It's a lot harder for him to lock things in. But he also was juggling, approaches and how he wanted to face hitters and how he wanted to try and put guys away and in situations, and when is it best to go for the strikeout, and when, can you get the ball on the ground and things like that. And it sounds like, and this is something that I need to get into a little bit more because we just heard a lot more about it last night, but it sounds like there was some pretty, heavy conversation, not heavy, but, and I don't want to say intense because they love talking pitching. It's like a reward for them to get to sit down and talk about what they're doing for an hour or two with another pitcher. But with Cal, with the pitching coaches, and with each other, the starters have really been talking through what they have been trying to do out there. And what works for one guy sometimes works for the other. And so I think that they did wade through some stuff over the last week, and I think came up with some answers that I think Logan was probably pretty happy with by his reaction in his game and the way that George was talking about his game. And what he does and what's different with him is George is so invested in the mental side of the game. And this isn't a 1-year thing or a 2-year thing. He's been doing the middle skills camps and things like that all along. But to hear him talk, because there was a big dramatic moment yesterday about Dan Wilson coming out, and is he going to let him finish the inning? He's not going to let him finish the inning, is he? He's coming to take him out. Have the conversation with George on the hill. George talks him into letting him stay out there. And that's a huge moment right there. And George took away from that the confidence that his manager had in him, and not that he didn't expect that he wouldn't. He said Dan has always had that and is wonderful with that. But that's what he took away from that, not what happened next, which was he walked the batter on 4 straight pitches. And we all know how much George Kirby hates to walk batters. He's like, whatever. And that whatever is huge. The fact that, he said, of course, I wish I had struck him out on 3 pitches, but I walked him. The main thing is the team won the game. And he did a lot of good things in that game. And there would have been a time where he would have been kicking himself for that. It was a little bit when he walked off the hill, but it was gone by the time that we talked to him in the clubhouse. And those are the things that you'll never see it on a stat sheet, but being able to put those things away and being able to tell yourself afterwards the importance of that was next to zero. He had a great outing and the Mariners won. And at that point, that's all that matters. Those are things that help you with everything else that you do in the game. And he is taking those huge steps forward.
I was going to say those little nuggets are why we have you on. So I'm so glad that you were able to share it with us. She's Mariners insider Shannon Drayer, kind enough to join us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Thanks, Shannon.
Thanks, Shannon.
You got it, guys.
Download the Seattle Sports app, every game, one app, completely free, so you can take the game with you on the go when you're out running errands, at Little League practice, on a hike, on the boat, wherever. The Seattle Sports app travels with you. Enjoy every pitch of Rick Rizz's final season, all in one place at no cost. It's the easiest way to enjoy Seattle Mariners baseball. Did we mention it's free? You are listening to The Dugout. Latest from Jeff Passan next.
Wyman and Bob.
I know Mariner fans love hearing this. Be patient.
Every afternoon at 2.
That's a dirty word.
Go ahead. Start sending the text and tell me how stupid I am.
You come into the season go, oh, man, I can't wait. I think this is kind of a shock to the system for a lot of Mariner fans coming out of the gate.
I still and fully believe in this team. And, like you said, all of the experts that are out there, they thought this too. I don't think anybody's jumping ship yet.
Only on Seattle Sports and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
Hear that? That's the sound of a car rolling into Valvoline Instant Oil Change. The sound of another savvy driver getting an oil change from trained pros. The sound of not having to leave your car while we quickly change your oil. At Valvoline Instant Oil Change, there's no hassle with appointments or dealer wait times. That's one smart bell.
Well, spring is all about getting ready for summer, isn't it? Hey, Brock Heward here, and working out in your own home, well, it is the best. We've been doing so for years. And you can allow Top Fitness to create your own home gym. And right now, get spring special financing with 0% interest for 12 months, plus mention me and receive an $150 credit towards any purchase over $1,000. Spring is here. So go get into Top Fitness with locations in Tukwila, Linwood, and Bellevue, or simply visit topfitness.com for more info.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, Risankizumab Rizza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Are you stuck staring at your W-2? Are tax refund worries holding you back? You probably have FOMO, the fear of messing up. The fix? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. It's time to overcome your fear of messing up and get your taxes done right. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
A multi-billion-dollar settlement is paying claims for up to 21 years. If you were exposed to weed killers at work or at home, your rights are affected. If you or your family has or had non-Hodgkin lymphoma, you could receive $6,000 to $165,000 or more. This settlement impacts you even if you're not sick, because this blood cancer can take 10 to 15 years to appear. If you stay in the settlement, you give up your right to sue. Learn more at weedkillerclass.com or call 888-403-8201. Paid for by the Roundup Settlement.
Back to the dugout on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
All right, the latest from Jeff Passan, who was on with Brock and Salk earlier today. And yes, a lot to love from this series against the Astros. We're going to go ahead and get into it right now. First, on his takeaways from what he saw from Cal.
Maybe Cal Raleigh doesn't hit 60 home runs this year, but is 35 or 40 reasonable? I still think so, which means the Mariners are in for a really good offensive run here, I think, at some point soon. And this may have been the beginning of that.
I believe Cal hit 10 home runs in the first month of the season last year. Not on pace to do that right now. However, I feel as though he seems to be getting into the swing of things. You're just seeing more. You were tracking hard hit percentage and kind of if he's barreling up, and it looks like there are more of those.
Yeah, that's just a good sign, man. You just want to make some good contact. You make good contact, good things are going to happen. The ball will drop eventually. There's only 3 outfielders out there, Stacy. They can't cover it all the time. So just keep squaring it up, and that's what we started to see this weekend. That's what I enjoyed the most about it.
I think what was good was hearing that there were that there was a leadership that kind of took hold in the start of the season for Seattle, and Jeff Passan talked about that coming from Julio.
The night that Albert Pujols hit that home run to Corpus Christi off of Brad Lidge, it's still like the most impressive home run I've ever seen in person. Brad Lidge stood there and wore it for like 45 straight minutes. There were like 3 different waves of media that came in and asked him the same questions. And he didn't say, I already talked about that. No, he understood that in situations that things had gone wrong, a club having someone who's willing to be the spokesman and to really sort of create the narrative of where they need to be and what they need to do, that stuff matters.
We tend to talk a lot about Cal and JP filling those roles. It's cool to hear Jeff point to Julio and say he's got so much maturity and can roll with the punches and really does stand up to face the criticism.
Yeah, and that's part of the gig, you know, when you have a profession that's in the spotlight and people are emotionally invested in everything that you're doing and you're considered one of the leaders, sometimes you got to stand there and just take it. It's part of the game. I understand why some people get frustrated at times, right? I think everyone's human. You're going to have your moments of frustration, but for the most part, you got to understand that you're playing $160 of these things. You know, there are going to be some bad times. So just like when the good times happen and they're celebrating you and asking you all these questions and you're sitting there with a smile on your face, you got to take the bad too.
All right, let's talk about the ABS rollout. How's that been going so far? Excuse me. Jeff says teams are still figuring it out.
Now we're at the point where you need to understand what the right time to do this is. And unless it is absolutely egregious and you feel like it's a no-doubt challenge win, then then you better be pocketing those. And just seeing the teams that have done it right. I look at the Red Sox right now. Red Sox hitters have challenged only 16 times. Their catchers have challenged only 7. Like, what are the Red Sox doing? You have these challenges. Take advantage of them. Don't leave them on the table.
It's an interesting balancing act because you don't want to leave them out there and not use them, but also you don't want to use it on a low leverage situation, which you end up getting wrong in the first, which the Mariners did do the other day.
Yeah. How do you get better at it if you don't practice it and do it?
That's a good question.
Like this time of the year, I feel like you should be aggressive. You start to kind of figure out. You're going to see some of these umpires again, understand their zone and all that good stuff, how they call things. Yeah, I would tell my team be aggressive early until we kind of figure this whole thing out.
That's actually a really good take. With if we're going to say that these games just matter less, that wins and losses still matter, but that you can strike out more, you can struggle more, then why not just use up some challenges in places that you might not otherwise, but just to try to get a feel for, am I seeing this zone the right way? Like, am I struggling with seeing, balls when they're outside in the bottom of the zone or whatever it is? Yeah, I like that. The Mariners have actually been, I would say, solid. They're getting better. It was tough to start the year. It was a little tough. And as far as who's doing best from each position, Jeff says catchers by far.
The number of challenges by catchers been 501. Of those 501 challenges, they have been successful 61.9% of the time. So catchers are doing really well. Batters, on the other hand, have challenged 449 times. Almost, pretty close, 90% of what catchers are doing. And they have been successful only 46.8% of the time. Yeah. So there's a 15 percentage point delta right there between catchers and batters.
Also, because if I'm a pitcher, I'm going, everything I throw is a strike.
Yeah. Yeah, that bias.
Of course I'm challenging that. And I know Kirby got one right, which was really cool to see. But I'm not surprised at the gap between catchers are the best, then hitters, then pitchers.
Yeah, because catchers, you're behind the plate. I mean, you're literally, you're not watching the ball go over the plate, but you have the feel, right? You have the feel of the zone. I'm with you. If I was a pitcher, I'm thinking all my stuff is strikes, man. I painted that corner,
What are you talking about?
What do you mean? I hit that. No, it's I think this has been just so fun for me to watch all these challenges because it allows some wrongs to be corrected, and then it allows for catchers and even blues just to be humbled a bit, because there's this relationship with umpires and the players to where for years umps just walk around like they poop don't stink. Like they can say, do whatever, don't you dare challenge me. Remember when they were using the minor leagues to challenge and players would tap their helmet in the bigs just to signal that you got that one wrong, and the umps would get all mad and throw them out the game and stuff. Like, there's always like this barrier between the umps and the players that I feel like is being broken down now, because now you're being held accountable and vice versa. Catchers, you want to complain or whatnot, challenge it then, and let's get this thing right. So I like it. It's a dynamic to the game that I really like.
While that's true, I do think it's made me appreciate how good umps have to be here.
Yeah.
Like when you see something and you're like, man, in real time, it's one thing when we're watching and, you see the strike zone and, you can see, oh, that's out. But and it doesn't always purely reflect, like what you're looking at on your MLB game day isn't always purely reflected when they actually do it, which I know because there are times when I'm like I'm looking at my app and it's out, but this was called a strike. So it's not perfect. But to call that in real time, I can't believe how good these guys have to be.
Right.
I have a new appreciation for players. It's not that I didn't have it before. It's just it makes you realize how quickly you have to be able to recognize it. And because of that, a new appreciation for umps. I hate to say it. I hate to say they are cooking with that one.
They are.
Alex Mayer is joining us at 1:45. We're going to look back at that series against Houston and then look ahead to what's next for Seattle as they get ready to head to San Diego. That game starting later today. Brian Wu on the mound. Coming up next, voice of the Mariners, Rick Rizzs.
Trident's up. and brooms up.
They get the mop, they get the sweep.
Swung on. Laser. Has he done it again? Josh Naylor. Lightning strikes twice.
After the Mariners sweep the division rival Astros, it's back on the road for a brief three-gamer in San Diego. Mariners Padres, first pitch at 6:40, 5:30 pregame tonight. Get every pitch of every game all with one app, the Seattle Sports app.
Shopping for a new Mazda? Shop the West Coast's largest Mazda dealer, Mazda of Everett, with more new Mazdas in stock than any dealer in the region. Shop over 780 new Mazdas. Click on the Mazda of Everett price. At Mazda of Everett, exceptional customer satisfaction is the standard. Plus, at Mazda of Everett, you negotiate directly with the owner. Locally owned, trusted by thousands. Shop MazdaofEverett.com and see why we're number one.
Hello, Seattle. Bank of America, in partnership with Visa, invites you to a FIFA World Cup 26 watch party. Open an eligible Bank of America checking account in participating financial centers only for an opportunity to reserve 2 complimentary tickets while supplies last. Experience special musical guests, games, giveaways, food, and more, all at a legendary venue. Learn more at BofA.com/BofA Visa Watch Party. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 26. Bank of America N.A. member FDIC. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
With Popeye's new $6 faves menu, you can get this 3-piece chicken, this 3-piece tenders, this chicken sandwich, or these 2 regular sides for just $6 a piece. I know you can't see what I see, but trust me, those bold Louisiana flavors look so good, you might just have to get them all. Now there's an idea.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Limited time at participating U.S. restaurants. Price may vary. Terms apply.
If you're building decks in Puget Sound this season, you need materials you can trust and a supplier who delivers. Par Lumber carries premium TimberTech and Trex composite decking. Get 20% off deck railing and lighting with any TimberTech or Trex deck board purchase. Visit par.com/decking to learn more.
For a limited time, upgrade your home's comfort and cut energy costs with Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Get 20% off energy-efficient windows and doors plus $1,000 off whole home projects. New windows help keep your home warmer in the winter, cooler in the summer, and your energy bills lower year-round. Plus, enjoy 18 months, no payments, no interest, only through April 15th. Hurry, schedule your free estimate before April 15th. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com. Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust.
On October 3rd, Snohomish PUD is hosting the first ever Community Energy Run at the Water Operations Center in Lake Stevens, located on the scenic Centennial Trail. It's a family-friendly 5K where every step supports the Community Energy Fund, helping local families keep the lights on when times get tough. Join the Community Energy Run on October 3rd. Learn more at snowpud.com/run.
Stacy here. Sell your car to Wayscar Ford, and when they resell it, they share half their profit with you. That's right. Sell your car to Wayscar Ford, Isuzu, and Auburn. They'll pay you today for your car, and once they resell it, they'll share half their profit with you. WayscarFord.com.
Can you imagine a world where you leave the house and you take your home Wi-Fi speeds with you? Well, thanks to Xfinity Mobile, it's not just a fantasy. Just picture it. You're at your kid's soccer practice. You're streaming the other game in 4K just like that. Or how about in the airport? You can download a cozy family comedy in a snap with Wi-Fi Power Boost. What if the places you had to be felt more like everywhere you wanted to be? That's the magic of Xfinity Mobile. Reliable Wi-Fi and 5G when you need it. Xfinity, imagine that. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Visit XfinityMobile.com to learn more. Some restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus regular rates for 2 lines of T-Mobile. Experience more. Verizon Unlimited Plus and AT&T Starter as of 2/10/26. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, the regular rates apply, but go check it all right now. Put it right in your fingertips with XfinityMobile.com.
Back to the dugout on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
You are listening to The Dugout, all Mariners from 1 to 2, coming up in 15 minutes. Alex Mayer, and right now the voice of the Mariners, Rick Rizzs, on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Rick, how's it going?
Oh, Stacy and Bump, it's absolutely beautiful here in San Diego. I'm looking out of my hotel room here at the Omni across the bay. Del Coronado Hotel across the water there. It's just absolutely a gorgeous day here in San Diego and a great time to come away with a win against the Padres. Start off the brief road trip.
Just rub it in, Riz.
Thanks, Riz. So happy. It's raining here today.
Beautiful.
Great. Well, I guess we got to tune in later and see it, so that'll feel nice. Maybe I'll turn the heat up in my house, and I'll feel like I'm in San Diego when I watch.
It's the same thing.
It's totally the same thing. I wanted to ask you specifically about Naylor, both on and off the field. I felt so happy for him. I think all of us did, getting those 2 home runs, and I loved his interaction. He gets to the dugout. He seems like someone that can kind of brush off a cold start, but I also wanted to ask you about what he's been like kind of behind the scenes. It feels like he's assimilated so quickly to this city and this team. What'd you like from him at the plate, and tell me a bit about his first couple weeks?
Well, the guy never changes. He's still the same guy. He's a great guy in the clubhouse. He's a super guy, outside the clubhouse with his family, with us. The guy's just so talented. He knows that you got to stay with the process. Everybody gets off to a slow start, or they run into a lull or a slump during the course of the season, but he just stayed with it. You could tell before that game last night that he was hitting the ball hard. He was driving the ball the opposite way, starting there, driving the ball up the middle. That's how you usually get out of it. But he stayed with the process, and all of a sudden, boom, there's that line drive in the right field, his first home run of the year, and then the first pitch and his second at bat, a home run to straightaway center field. So it was just a matter of time. And the same thing with the other guys who were struggling. They just needed their timing to get there. I think they suffered a little bit by going to the World Baseball Classic. I don't think they had enough reps and swings and working with their guys, every day like they would have at spring training. But he's just the same guy. He's so talented. He's so smart. Loves playing the game of baseball. It shows he loves this city and the organization. The Mariners have made his family feel a part of their family, and he's just happy to be here, and it shows.
Riz, how have you liked the ABS?
I do like it. I'm not a technology guy. I've been, digging in my heels on a lot of technology. I think there's too much in the game. I just don't want it to see go any farther than what it is, just 2 challenges, and you keep them if you win. I just don't want to turn the umpires into robots. I don't want to turn our catchers into just guys that you put up a glove and catch the ball, because there's an art to catching. There's an art to framing. There's an art for catchers to read swings and see what adjustments the hitters are making. There's an art to what Cal Raleigh does, and Mitch Garver, going out there to calm a guy down and say, okay, we got to stay with the plan. We got to do this, do that. But I do like it because it's so quick. The technology is finally here. For years, it wasn't good enough, because I remember I talked with one of our AA kids, Zach Deloche, many years ago when it started in the minor leagues. I said, how's it working down there? He said, Rick, it's not very good at all, because there was a pitch to me that bounced over the plate and was called a strike. But they've come a long way since then, and it works. It's a fun little thing for the fans, and I'm okay with it as long as we stay with just 2 challenges, because if you use them at the right time and there's a strategy to it, it can change an at-bat, which can change the course of an outcome of a ball game, and we've seen that already.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to ask about Dan a bit. I thought it was really cool, him coming out. We all thought he'd pull Kirby. JP's chanting, Kirby gets to stay in. I wish that Kirby would have gotten that final out. Would have been a cool moment. But it still, I felt like, was insightful for me, at least as a viewer, to see that exchange. And it made me wonder a bit about Dan's relationship with his players. I know that you know all about it. Would you mind telling me about kind of how the guys see Dan and kind of maybe any extra like power and control that he might give players in those moments?
Yeah, that's what he did with George. He allowed him to face one of the most dangerous hitters in the game of baseball. But he said, be careful with him. And he was. He walked about 4 pitches. He said, I'll let you in here. You got 2 outs. I'd love to see you go 8 innings. And because you did that in your last outing in Texas, and that was in a 3-2 loss. So go ahead. I'll give you the opportunity, because he trusts George, and George trusts him. The players, I have a total respect for Dan Wilson. He's done an amazing job here. Just think about it. A couple of years ago, he takes over in August. The ball club has 34 games left. They're striking out at record pace, and the ball club goes 23-11. Last year, they win 90 games. He's the first manager in Mariner history in his first full season to take the team to the playoffs. and they win the American League West with 90 wins with George Kirby out for 2 months and Logan out for 2 months and Bryce Miller out for basically the year and Brian Wu out at the end of the year. So they have a lot of trust in Dan, and Danny has a lot of trust in them. If he didn't think that he could get Alvarez out there, he wouldn't allow him to go out there, I think, in the 8th inning, because that Alvarez, was coming up there with the third batter. But I think that gives George a lot of confidence. He already has a lot of confidence. But I love that Danny went out there to look in his eyes and say, hey, can you get this guy? Do you want this guy? Are you all right? And George looked at him. I said on the radio, I said, George has probably got flames coming out of his eyes. He says he wants to stay in this game. And I love the fact that he allowed him to stay in the game to give him a chance to get Alvarez. He pitched a great game. And you got to have that trust with your manager. And Danny has that trust from the players. He's got the trust in his pitching staff.
Riz, is that an example of just old school ball? Forget the data. I'm going to talk to my guy. We're going to look him in the eye. I'm going to have that human connection, and we'll make the decision together.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right, Bump. Lou did that a million times. That's why Lou would go out there, because he'd look in the guy's eyes and he could tell if he was scared stiff or if he knew that he could get a guy out. And if he saw that fear, he was gone. If he saw the fact that, hey, I want this guy, I can get this guy. Now, there's a lot of times he didn't get him, but at least they showed that confidence. Lou would see that confidence. Dan saw that confidence last night in George, and you got to love that. That's old school. Forget about the analytics. Forget about the pitch count. The pitch count was very manageable for George because he pitched the contact throughout most of that ball game, and so he knew that he still had something left in the tank. So it was that and the old school saying, yeah, let me stay in. I'd love to face this guy. I think I can get him.
I always know when people talk about a really complete NFL team, they're like, it's really cool when the defense is on the field and you aren't leaving your seat, and then the offense comes back, you don't want to leave your seat, and then special teams, you never know when a kick could return. Yeah. And that's how I feel about this lineup right now. I know that so many eyes, understandably, were on the heart of the lineup, just being like, come on, these strikeouts are a bummer. You really want these guys to heat up. But I was realizing during the Astros series, and I get that they had opportunities against bad pitching, but it was like every guy that came up, I was like, well, shoot, Rayleigh's 2 for 3 right now. Maybe he gets another. And, Cole Young's so hot to start the season. It feels, Riz, that there's not a weakness really in this lineup right now. Even if guys aren't hot or as hot as you'd like them to be, this feels like the deepest lineup I can remember. What about you?
No, absolutely, Stace. This is the lineup that they expected could do what they thought they could do when they put it together during the off season. And granted, they got off to the slow start, in the early part of the year. But again, there's probably a reason for that. But now that's the team they wanted to put together, and that's the team that they have right now. You got to have the big three. You got to have Cal Raleigh, Julio, and Josh Naylor hitting. You have to have it because those guys. You take a look at the back of their bubblegum cards. They know who they are. They're really, really good hitters who can hit for an average, hit for power, and drive in runs. And that's what they did. The big three in the last 4 games against Houston hit .270 with 4 home runs, 11 runs batted in. In the first 13 games of the year, they hit just .130 with 1 home run and 10 RBIs. Those guys were going to hit .130 for the rest of the year because they were going to get things turned around, and they have against Houston. And now they take that momentum into the series beginning tonight in San Diego. But now the rest of the lineup is deeper. You got J.P. Crawford, working counts and getting on base. He lived on base. He was on base 11 times in that 4-game series, whether it was in a leadoff spot for Donovan when he was sick or hitting 7th. Cole Young is having a good year at the bottom of the order. Brendan Donovan has been a great addition, hitting like crazy at the top of the order. Luke Rayleigh's hitting a lot, 6 hits in his last 2 games. So now you got a lot of length in the lineup, and it's the lineup that they put together, last October, November, December, and January.
Hey, tell me about just the maturity that you've seen out of Julio. Stacey and I were just talking about how he's matured over the past few years.
I'm sorry, Bump. I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry. Talk about the maturity that you've seen out of Julio the past few years.
Oh my, the kid's amazing. For some reason, he gets off to a slow start in the early part of the year, and then he turns it on, and he's an all-star. He was an all-star at the all-star break last year, decided not to go to get ready for the second half of the season. But he really is a leader on this ball club. When he goes, the ball club goes. He's the star on this team. along with Cal Raleigh and some of the guys in the starting staff. Brian Wu had a fantastic year, and all those guys. But Julio is the guy he's the straw that stirs the drink. He really is. In that leadoff spot with his offense, with his defense. The kid's only, 25 years old, 5 years in the big leagues now. And he still hit 32 home runs last year, drove in 95, and stole 30 bases, even with that slow start. So he's mature enough to know who he is. He's still trying to figure out, why, he gets off to a slow start. But now, he did very well in the series against Houston, 7 for 17. He got his first home run of the season and got his first extra base hit and his home run in the first game. And you're going to see this kid really take off because he knows who he is. As a player, he knows his role on this ball club. And he's just a heck of a lot of fun to watch, especially defensively. How many guys have their own section at the ballpark down through the years? Think about it and live up to it. You got the J-Rod squad. You had King's Court, with Felix Hernandez. That's a lot of pressure to live up to, especially as a young player. And Julio lives up to every bit of that and more.
Yeah, plenty of opportunities for him. It feels like every game to do the no-fly zone to the crowd. It's like, man, that guy is making some incredible plays. Voice of the Mariners, Rick Rizzs, kind enough to join us for the dugout. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you, Stacy. Thank you, Bump. Take care.
Thanks,
See ya.
Rizzs.
Alex Mayer joins us next.
You can stream every pitch of every inning of every game all season long. Oh, and it's completely free.
It's a tremendous catch.
Only on the Seattle Sports app. That's right. The free Seattle Sports app puts every single Mariners game right in the palm of your hand.
On a platter, come and get it.
One app, every game. Plus the latest Mariners news, insider access, video, and podcasts.
Holy smokes, what a play.
Pretty awesome, right? Just like the Mariners.
Well, spring is all about getting ready for summer, isn't it? Hey, Brock Heward here. And working out in your own home, well, it is the best. We've been doing so for years. And you can allow Top Fitness to create your own home gym. And right now, get spring special financing with 0% interest for 12 months. Plus, mention me and receive an $150 credit towards any purchase over $1,000. Spring is here. So go get into Top Fitness with locations in Tukwila, Linwood, and Bellevue, or simply visit topfitness.com for more info.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org.
7 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Have a troublesome tree in need of removal? P&D Tree Service is up to the task. Local experts in tree removal for residential and commercial. If it's 1 tree or 15 trees, close quarters or land clearing, call P&D Tree. They'll get the job done safely and quickly, turning multi-day jobs into a few hours, saving you time and money. They'll clear trees away from homes to help you save on home insurance. They specialize in large tree removal. Ever see a tree removed by crane? PNDTreeService.com.
You could file your taxes on a basic free service, which is fine. But are you okay with fine? Because when it's your money on the line, do you really want to guess if you missed a credit or hope the math is right? Get the confidence of TurboTax for free right on the Intuit Credit Karma app. Free Fed and free state for simple 1040s only. Around 37% of filers qualify. See details at turbotax.com/free. No schedules except for EITC, CTC, student loan interest, and Schedule 1A.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
A bases clearing 3-run double by Josh Naylor. Holy smokes.
Are you planning an event in 2026? Make it unforgettable at T-Mobile Park. Mariners suites and group tickets are perfect for any occasion. Fundraisers, school outings, work parties, family celebrations, and more. Enjoy customizable catering, flexible setups for 14 to 400 people, and epic game day views, all with the help of a dedicated Mariners rep. Get ahead and start planning your event today at mariners.com.
Back to the dugout on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Alex Mayer of Mariners Stats and Information joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Alex, it is incredible what a series sweep will do for the vibes. I know that it was early no matter what 4 days ago, but now it feels a little easier to breathe after this offense just took care of business. So I'll start by looking back at this series against the Astros. What to you felt most important?
Yeah, isn't it amazing how day-to-day we live in a 162-game season? It's
almost like it's a really long
incredible.
season.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, a lot of things stood out to me in the 4-game mop of the Astros. I think the starting pitching is what really stands out, and then some of the bats heating up. First you saw Cal heat up, then Julio had a really good series, hit over 400 in the 4 games against the Stros. And then you saw Josh Naylor hit 2 bombs yesterday. So I think everyone's getting warmed up, if not heated up. And J.P. Crawford also looked good in that series, too.
What was your experience with the Ichiro statue mishap?
Yeah, I was out there like everyone else. I didn't have the camcorder like Julio was rocking, but I was watching it and I was recording it on my phone. And just like everyone else there, I gasped as a natural reaction. But I think the way Ichiro himself handled it and the very quick fix by our ballpark operations and everyone involved made it so much better. And then obviously our social team playing it off as well as they did with the parody post saying breaking the new giveaway, the new bobblehead giveaway with the bat dangling. So I feel like it was handled about as well as it could be. But, yeah, definitely a look of horror right when it happened.
Well, maybe the move is to put up 162 statues because one of your game-winning stats from the first of that series. Tell us about it.
Yeah, not only that, but they were all against Texas teams. So right after the Dave Niehaus statue went up in the outfield, right after Griffey, right after Edgar, right after Ichiro, the Mariners were victorious at home games against Texas-based teams. So weird. You know me, I'm always trying to tie random oddities together. So that one was a fun one.
Yeah, it's I actually going back to the statue. I went to the game that night, and by the time I pulled up, it was perfect, and everyone's celebrating. So yeah, big ups to the team getting that done. That was kind of cool. And I got the replica statue too. So it was a good day. Good day.
There
for
you go.
Boy. Good day for your boy.
We take care of you at T-Mobile Park.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Hey, tell me about just what you've seen from this team. You know, you talked about it. It's day to day. We overreact to stuff. Everything's a big deal. But they found a way to get their act together with this homestand. What stood out to you?
Yeah, I think these guys are playing for each other. I mean, obviously it's a cliche in sports, but I don't think there's like a selfish guy on this team. I also think there's been a nice like flow of veterans that have come in too. I mean, not only do you have your veterans that started the year like JP and Ref Snyder and Naylor and those guys, but we've seen Connor Joe come through. Patrick Wisdom just got selected today. Bringing Mitch Garver back, I think, was important in terms of like the clubhouse aspect of the game. So I think some of the veteran leadership shouldn't be overlooked with this team, and I think it'll help dig us out of holes that are even greater than a little 4-game losing streak.
I'm glad you mentioned Patrick Wisdom because that was my next question for you. What can you tell us about him?
Nice. Yeah, Patrick Wisdom's been a really cool story. So he was in the Mariners organization after a couple stops in St. Louis and Texas. The Mariners basically parted ways with him in 2020, and then he went on to have a really nice career with the Cubs. He had 3 straight 20-homer seasons, really was a good everyday big leaguer. Then was phased out of the big leagues a little bit, but hit 35 homers in Korea last year for the Kia Tigers. So just had a phenomenal year over in South Korea. And we brought him back this year, and he is a phenomenal guy. We loved having him at spring training, really good dude, very charitable off the field. He was even the Cubs' Roberto Clemente nominee a couple years ago. He's involved with St. Jude Children's Hospital, among some other things, including Feed My Starving Children. He got some guys together at Mariners camp this year to do that program. But he's a fantastic dude, and it doesn't hurt that he leads the minor leagues with 9 home runs so far.
Mariners taking on a hot team in the Padres this week. Tell me about them.
Yeah, I would love to see what we did last year to begin the Vetter Cup when we were here in San Diego with the 3-game sweep last May. I think they've got obviously a very good lineup. They've got good pitching. I mean, they've really got it all. But I think this is one of my favorite cities to come to, and definitely one of my favorite ballparks. It's just it's a great vibe here, and we played here on a weekend last year, so I don't know if this series will quite match that, but it's an awesome place to be, and I won't brag too much about how sunny it is right now.
I asked a similar question of Rizzs, and I'm asking you the same question, but you see a slightly different side. But obviously, both of you are on the team a ton. I felt so happy for Josh Naylor getting not just that first home run, but the second. And I always pay close attention to body language in those moments because you can tell that guys are. It's not like they don't have confidence in themselves, but there's probably a little bit of relief and a little bit of like, yeah, that's right. I know I'm good when you kind of have that moment. So liked the energy that Josh had. He also seems like someone that had a fairly calm approach, maybe a neutral approach in general. What can you tell us behind the scenes about kind of how the first couple weeks of the season have been for him? Because he's been cold, but he also seems like he's assimilated so well with this club.
Yeah, totally. And sorry, I giggled at the beginning because I thought you were telling me that you asked Rick about the sunshine here. But
no, he volunteered it. He volunteered that.
Sure
we were like,
did.
thanks,
I wasn't going to bring it up and brag about it.
Appreciate it. It's raining right now.
Yeah. Nails had a very, very cool and in-depth post-game media session yesterday after his 2-homer game. Most of the time, I feel like guys will talk 4 or 5, maybe 6 minutes in there, but he went like a solid 10, just talking about how he's, his swing got him here, his preparation got him here, became a big league all-star, the proven, awesome player that he is. So I think it's important for him that he doesn't get out of his preparation, all the things that got him here kind of thing. I think he totally meant it when he said he's not switching much up because like I said, it got him here. But I think Naylor's a very confident dude, and I don't think, looking at his stats after 12 games or so is going to shake him very much.
Were you surprised Dan left Kirby in the game?
I think Dan is an old school baseball guy and loves that competitiveness out of his pitchers and really all his players. So I wasn't surprised by it, and I loved the fans at T-Mobile Park this year have been exceptional, and I really liked how loudly they cheered when Dan turned around and Kirby didn't come with him. So that was really cool to see. I wasn't that surprised though. No.
Like hearing about JP Channing. That was my favorite part of it.
I saw that too. I'm not surprised by that either.
Woo on the mound tonight for the series opener against the Padres. If he goes through 7, knock on wood, can I request a game-winning stat from Alex Mayer of like maybe the most consecutive through 7 starts from a rotation?
Yeah.
I'm so curious in that because it's got to be more than 3, but it can't be that much more, right?
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, guys, speaking of leaving pitchers in games, I mean, those guys would go 7 on the regular. But it's a great note, Stacy, and it's definitely one I'll look up for you.
Maybe we'll look up the through 7 and then limiting to a certain number of runs. Maybe that's how do we make it? We just need to be in first place here, and I'm going to figure it out. These have been phenomenal
do it.
starts.
Runs and walks and all the great things our pitchers do.
We'll find it. Well, let's hope that we get another Alex Mayer game-winning stat after today's game.
Let's do it, guys.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you also to Rick Rizzs and Shannon Drayer for joining us on the Dugout. Wyman and Bob coming up next.
Wyman and Bob.
I know Mariner fans love hearing this. Be patient.
Every afternoon at 2.
That's a dirty word. Go ahead. Start sending the text and tell me how stupid I am. You come into the season and go, oh, man, I can't wait. I think this is kind of a shock to the system for a lot of Mariner fans coming out of the gate. I still am fully believe in this team. And, like you said, all of the experts that are out there, they thought this too. I don't think anybody's jumping ship yet.
Only on Seattle Sports and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
Home is more than a place to live. It's where the best of life unfolds, where possibility sparks, where community grows, where lives take shape. At the Master Builders Association of King and Snohomish Counties, that belief drives the work our builders, remodelers, and tradespeople do every day. Because when we build more homes, we're building so much more than housing. We're making room for what matters most. Learn more at roomforwhatmatters.com.
Spring is here, Seattle, and now is the smartest time to replace your roof. Trust your neighbors at 3 Tree Roofing, a local, family-owned company that knows how to roof in Washington weather year-round. Schedule your free estimate today at 3treeroofing.com to take advantage of spring pricing, shorter wait times, and get $500 off your new roof before the summer rush hits. Our experts come to you, build a clear plan, and give you an estimate that same day. No surprises and no high-pressure sales tactics. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here for my friends at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. And if you're looking for a spot to catch all the spring baseball and sports, I got a place for you. Hawks Peak Sports Bar and Grill. It's your home for game days with more than 60 TVs, so you won't miss a play. They got great food and drinks, and nothing beats the views. So get in on all the action at Hawks Peak. Head to snocasino.com for all the details. That's snocasino.com. It is Seattle's closest Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Please game responsibly.
For a limited time, upgrade your home's comfort and cut energy costs with Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Get 20% off energy-efficient windows and doors, plus $1,000 off whole home projects. New windows help keep your home warmer in the winter, cooler in the summer, and your energy bills lower year-round. Plus, enjoy 18 months, no payments, no interest, only through April 15th. Hurry, schedule your free estimate before April 15th. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com. Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust.
Digging in my yard, trying to lay a pipe. I hit a water line and now I have to pay a big fine. I should have called 811.
You can count on the Seattle Times for local news and information on your teams and your scores. Get inside the game and go beyond the stats with game summaries, player interviews, and play-by-play analysis every day. Read our coverage at seattletimes.com/sports.
Hey, did you hear about that multi-billion-dollar Roundup settlement?
Yeah, it impacts people who are exposed to weed killers at work or at home, even if you just used it in your own yard. Lawsuits claim it causes non-Hodgkin lymphoma, a blood cancer.
But we're not sick, so that doesn't affect us.
But it does. This cancer can take 10 to 15 years to show up.
That's a long time after exposure.
It is, and that's why the settlement is paying claims for up to 21 years. If you get sick, even years from now, you could get $6,000 to $165,000 or more as part of the settlement.
So what's the catch?
If you stay in, you give up the right to sue them later.
Learn more at weedkillerclass.com or call 1-888